A Christmas Carol by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The shepherds went their haste away, and found the lowly stable shed where the Virgin Mother lay. Now they checked their eager tread, for to the babe that at her bosom clung, a mother's song the Virgin Mother sung. They told the whole glorious light, streaming from a heavenly throng, around them shone, suspending night. While sweeter than a mother's song, blessed angels heralded the Saviour's birth, glory to God on high, and peace on earth. She listened to the tale divine, and closer still the babe she pressed, and while she cried, "The babe is mine," the milk rushed faster to her breast. Joy rose within her like a summer's morn. Peace, peace on earth, the Prince of Peace is born. The mother of the Prince of Peace, poor, simple, and of low estate, with strife should vanish, battle cease, or why should this thy soul elate? Sweet music's loudest note, the poet's story, didst thou ne'er laugh to hear fame and glory? And is not war, youthful king, a stately hero, clad in mail? Beneath his footsteps laurels spring, him earth's majestic monarchs hail, their friend, their playmate, and his bold bright eyes compels the maiden's love-confessing sigh. Tell this in some more courtly scene, to maids and youths in robes of state, the woman poor and mean, wherefore is my soul elate? Was a ruffian, all with guilt defiled, and from the aged father tears his child. A murderous fiend, by fiends adored, he kills the sire, starves the son. The husband kills, and from lair abroad steals all his widow's toil had won, plunders God's world of beauty, rends away all safety from the night, all comfort from the day. Then why is my soul elate, with strife should vanish, battle cease, I'm poor and of a low estate, the mother of a Prince of Peace. Joy rises in me like a summer's morn. Peace, peace on earth, a Prince of Peace is born. A Lover's Complaint to His Mistress by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The dubious light set glimmers o'er the sky, to silence all. By lonely anguish torn, with wandering feet to gloomy groves I fly, and wakeful love still tracks my course forlorn. Will you, cruel Julia, will you go, and trust you to the ocean's dark dismay? Shall the wide watery world between us flow, and winds unpitying snatch my hopes away? Thus could you sport with my too easy heart, yet tremble lest not unavenged I grieve. The winds may learn your own delusive art, and faithless oceans smile but to deceive. A Tombless Epitaph by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. 'Tis true, Idolatclustes, Saturane, Saccordin for so mingling blame with praise and smites with anxious looks his earliest friends masking his birthday in want to characterize a wildwood fancy in him to seal. 'Tis true that, passionate for ancient truths, and honoring with religious love a grade of elder times, he hated to excess with an unquiet and intolerant scorn the hollow puppets of an hollow age, ever adulterous and changing ever, its worthless idols, learning power and time, too much of all, was wasting in the vain war of a fervid colloque. Sickness, 'tis true, whole years of very days besieged him close, even to the gates and inlets of his life. But it is true no less that strength was firm, and with a natural gladness he maintained the citadel unconquered, and in joy was strong to follow the delightful muse. For not a hidden path into the shades of the beloved Parsenian's forest leads lurked undiscovered by him, not railway issues from the font of Hippocrene, but he had tracked it upward to its source through open glade, dark glen, and secret dell, knew the gay wildflowers on its banks, and culled its medicinable harps. Here, oft around pacing the long, neglected holy cove, the haunt obscure of old philosophy, he bade with lifted talk its starry walls sparkle as earth sparkled to the flame of those lamps tended by saint and sage. Or frame for calmer times and noble hearts, thou studious poet, eloquent for truth, philosopher, condemning wealth and death, yet docile, childlike, full of life and love. Here, rather than on monumental stone, this record of the worth a friend inscribes, thoughtful, with quiet tears upon his cheek. Absence, a Farewell Ode by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Where graced with many a classic spoil, come roads as a reverent stream along, a haste to urge the learned toil that sternly chides my lovelorn song. Ah me, too mindful of the days illumed by passion's Orion rays, and peace and cheerfulness and health enriched me with the best of wealth. Fair delights on my soul on memory's wing like shadows fly. Flowers which joy from Eden stole, while innocence stood smiling by. But keys fond heart, the spotless moan, was ours on rapid pinions flown, shall yet return by absence crowned, and scatter livelier roses round. The sun on airy midst his fires, on heedless eyes may pour the day. The moon, that oft from heaven retires, endears her renovated ray. What a woe she leave the sky unblessed, to mourn a while in murky west. When she resumes her lovely light, we bless the wanderer of her night. Aliquid ex Nihilo by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. In answer to the nihil e nihilo of the atheists and their near relation, the anima mundi man, a humorist pointed to a white blank and a rude woodcut, which very ingeniously served for the head of hair in one of the figures. An Anecdote by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. We here in England received the very high character of Lord E. during his stay abroad. Not unlikely, sir, replied the traveller. A dead dog at a distance is said to smell like musk. An Invocation by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sweet muse, companion of my every hour, voice of my joy, sure soother of a sigh, now plumb thy pinions, now exert each power, and fly to him who owns thy candid eye. With a smile of praise thy labour hail, well sure thy labours will my mind employ. Fly fleetly back, sweet muse, and with a tale outspread my features with a flush of joy. Answer to a Child's Question by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Do you ask what the birds say, the sparrow, the dove, the linnet and thrush say? I love and I love. In winter we're silent, the wind is so strong, what it says I don't know, but it sings a loud song. But green leaves and blossoms and sunny warm weather, and singing and loving all come back together. But the larks are brimful of gladness and laugh, the green fields below him, the blue sky above, but he sings, and forever sings he, I love my love, and my love loves me. Anthem for the Children of Christ's Hospital by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Seraphs, around the eternal seat, who throng with tuneful ecstasies of praise, O teacher of fabled tongues, like yours the song of fervent gratitude to raise, like you, inspired with holy flame to dwell on that almighty name, who bade the child of woe no longer sigh, and joy in tears so spread the widow's eye. The all-gracious parent hears the wretched's prayer, the meek tear strongly pleads on high, then resignation struggling with despair, the Lord beholds with pitying eye. Sees cheerless want, unpitied pine, diseases on earth its head recline, and bids compassion, sacred realms of woe, to heal the wounded, and to raise the low. She comes, the meek-eyed power I see, with a liberal hand that loves to bless. The clouds of sorrow at her presence flee, rejoice, ye children of distress. The beams that play around her head through one's dark veil their radiance spread. The young uncultured mind imbibes the ray, and wise reluctant quits the expected prey. Cease, forlorn mother, cease the wailings drear, ye babes, the unconscious stop forgo, or let full gratitude now prompt the tear which erst did so force to flow. Unkindly cold and tempest chill, and life's morn off the traveller chill, but soon as path the sun of love shall warm, and each glad scene look brighter for the storm. Apologia Pro Vita Sua by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The poet in his lone yet genial hour gives to his eyes a magnifying power, or rather he emancipates his eyes from the black shapeless accidents of sighs, and unto his counts of kindling coal, or smoke upwretched from the pipe's trim bowl, as gifted can conceive phantoms of sublimity. Bulls by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Novi ego alictam qui dormitabanus aliquando pulsari horum quatem adiveret exic numeravit, una ac tempre re absurditate, quam anima concebibat exclamavit, ne deriat horologium quata pulsavit horam unam. I knew a person who during imperfect sleep, or dozing as we say, listened to the clock as it was striking 4, and as it struck, he counted the 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then exclaimed, "Why, the clock is out of its wits, it has struck 1 4 times over." This is a good exemplification of the nature of bulls, which will be found always to contain in them a confusion of what the schoolmen would have called objectivity with subjectivity, in plain English, the impression of a thing as it exists in itself and extrinsically, with the idea which the mind abstracts from the impression. Thus, the number or the total of a series is a generalization of the mind, an ens rationas, not an ens reale. I've read many attempts at a definition of a bull, and lately in the Edinburgh Review, but it then appeared to me that the diviners had fallen into the same fault with Miss Edgeworth in her delightful essay on bulls, and given the definition of a genus blunder for that of a particular species bull, I venture therefore to propose the following. Bull consists in a mental juxtaposition of incongruous ideas with a sensation but without the sense of connection. The psychological condition of the possibility of a bull it would not be difficult to determine, but it would require a larger space than can be afforded in the Omniana, at least more attention than our readers would be likely to afford. There is a sort of spurious bull which consists wholly in mistake of language, and which the closest thinker may make if speaking in a language of which he is not master. Burke, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As late there lay in slumber shadowy Yale, with wetted cheek and in the mourner's guise, I saw the faint form of freedom rise. She spake, not said her moans the autumnal gale, great son of genius, sweet to me thy name, and an evil hour with altered voice, the web's depression's hireling crew rejoice, blasting with wizard's spell my laureled fame. Yet never Burke for drank's corruption's bowl. Restore me pity in the cherished lure of pomp and proud precipitance of soul, wild as with mephier fires. Our spirit pure, but error's mist, had lived by purged eye, so might I clasp thee with a mother's joy. But not our filmy pinion, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. But not our filmy pinion we scorch amid the blaze of day, the noontide's fiery tressed minions flashed the fervent ray. I from the sultry heat, we to the cave retreat, our canopied by huge roots intertwined, with wildest textures blackened or with age. Round them the mantle green the ivies bind, beneath whose foliage pale, famed by the unfrequent gale, we shield us from the turn's midday rage. Cap of Liberty, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Those who hope profound of human nature, and admitted of no distinction between Christians and Frenchmen, regarded the first constitution as a colossal statue of Corinthia's brass, formed by the fusion and commixture of all metals and the configuration of a state. There is a common fungus which so exactly represents the Polar cap of liberty that it seems offered by nature herself as the appropriate emblem of Gallic republicanism. Mushroom patriots with the mushroom cap of liberty. Circulation of the blood, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The ancient attribute to the blood the same motion of ascent and descent which really takes place in the sap of trees. Servetus discovered the minor circulation from the heart to the lungs. Do not the following passages of Girardone Bruno, published 1591, seem to imply more? We put the question pauperis forme with unfeigned diffidence. De menso et innumerabili. Ut in nostro corpus sanguis per totem secum curat, et recursat, sic in toto mundo astrotelure. Quare non alte quam nostro in corpore sanguis hinc remet, nequat inferiora fluid vi maiore, ad supera a pedibus quam deinde recidat. And still more plainly in the 9th chapter of the same book. Quid esset quodiam digero nature cuncte redirent, ortus ad pauperibus rosorum, si sorbet omnes pondus aquis, toto non restituaque perenne, ordine, qua posset rerum consistere vita, tanquam si totus concurrat sanguis in unam, in quae consistat partem nec prima revisitat ordie, et antiquus cursus non inde resumat. It is affirmed in the supplement of the Scotch Encyclopaedia Britannica that Descartes was the first who, in defiance of Aristotle and the schools, attributed infinity to the universe. The very title of Bruno's poem proves that his honor belongs to him. Fagel lays claim to a knowledge of a circulation for Francisco de la Reina, a farrier who published a work upon his own art at Buarcos in 1564. The passage which he quotes is perfectly clear. Por manera que la sangre anda en torreno y en rueda por todos los miembros excluya toda duda. The Varena himself claimed any discovery Fayette does not mention, but these words seem to refer to some preceding demonstration of the fact. I am inclined to think that this, like many other things, was known before it was discovered, just as the preventive powers of a vaccine disease, the existence of adipocria in graves, and certain principles in grammar and in population upon which bulky books have been written and great reputations erased in our own days. Constancy to an Ideal Object, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Since all that we devote in nature's range are we or vanish, why shouldst thou remain the only constant in a world of change, O yearning thought, that lives but in the brain? Call to the hours that in the distance play, that there people of a future day found fault. Not one of all that shining swarm with breath on weave of life and kindling breath, shall when, like strangers sheltering from a storm, hope and desire meet in the park of death. Yet still there haunts me, and though well I see, she's not woe, and only woe had she, still as though some dear embodied good, some living laugh before my eyes were stood, of answering look, ready here to lend, a moan to re and say, our loveliest friend, and with the meed of all my toils might be to have a home in English home and we. Vain repetition, home and woe are one, the peacefulest cot the moon shall shine upon, lulled by the thrush and wakened by the lark, without we were but a becalmed bark, whose helmsman on an ocean waste and wide sits mute and pale as mouldering helm beside. And thou art for nothing, such thou art, as when the woodman winding westward up the glen at wintry dawn, where o'er the sheep-tracks mazed of viewless snow mist waves a glistening haze, see full before him, gliding without tread, an image of the glory round its head. The enamoured rustic worship its fair hues, and no sea makes the shadow he pursues. Desire, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Where true love burns, desire is love's pure flame. It is the reflex of our earthly frame, that takes its meaning from the nobler part, but translates the language of the heart. Despair, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I have experienced the worst the world can wreak on me, the worst that can make life indifferent, yet disturb and whisper discontents the dying prayer. I've beheld the whole of all, and my heart had any interest in this life, to be disrent and torn from off my hopes, that nothing knows left. Why then live on, a hostage which the world had in its keeping, given by me as a pledge that I would live, that hope of her, say rather, that pure faith in her fixed love, which held me to keep truce with the tyranny of life, is gone now, however. What boots it to reply? It is gone, and now will make I break this pact, this league of blood, that ties me to myself, and break I shall. Destruction of the Bastille, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Heardst thou yon universal cry, and dost thou linger still on Galilea's shore? Go, tyranny, beneath some barbarous sky, a terror's lost and ruined power deplore. What thou through many a groaning age was felt thy keen suspicious rage, yet freedom's aroused by fierce disdain, as wildly broke thy triple chain, and like the storm which earth's deep entrails hide, at length has burst, its veins spread the ruins wide. And sighs, the sickly breath was spent, each gleam of hope had kissed the long day to cheer, or if delusive in some flitting dream, it gave them to their friends and children dear. Awaked by lordly insults sound to all the doubled horrors around, oft shrunk they from oppression's band, while anguish raised the desperate hand for silent death, or lost the mind's control, for every burning vein would highs a frenzy roll. But keys keep dying bosoms, keys to bleed, such scenes no more demand the tear human. I see, glad liberty succeed, if every petri or the virtue in her train. And mark yon passion's raptured eyes, secure her views as harvests rise. Nor fetter while the mind shall know, and eloquence shall fearless glow. Yes, liberty the sound of life shall reign, shall throb in every pulse, shall flow through every vein. Shall France alone a despot spurn? Shall she alone of freedom boast thy care? Low round thy standard Belgia's heroes burn, the powers, blood-stained streamers fire the air, and wider yet thy influence spread, on every clime the very head, till every land from pole to pole shall boast one independent soul, and still, as erst, that favoured Britain be, first ever the first, and freest of the free. Devonshire Roads, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The indignant bard composed this furious ode, has tired eject his way through Palm Tree Road. Crossed the filth and stucker mire, dull sounds of bard's bemuddered lyre. Nerveless the wench, and I the poet goad, to pour his imprecations on the road. Cursed road, whose execrable way was darkly shadowed out in Milton's lay. And the seared fiends, through hell's sepulchres roads, took the first survey of their new abodes. Or then the fallen archangel, fierce, dared through the realms of night to pierce what time the bloodhound learned by human scent through all confusion's quagmire's floundering went. Not shearing pipe nor virtual note around the dray path shall float. The boding songs shall scritch out poor to fright the guilty shepherd's soul, led by the wandering fires astray for the dank horrors of thy way. while away where mud-lost sandals hunt, may all the curses which will grant, and raging moan like goaded hawk, alight upon thee, damned borg. Dura Navis by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. To tempt the dangerous deep, to venturous youth, why does thy breast the fondest wishes glow? No tender parent there thy care shall soothe, no much-loved friend shall share thy every woe. Why does thy mind with hopes delusive burn? Vain are thy schemes, by heated fancy planned, the promised joy without seed or sour turn, exiled from bliss and from thy native land. Hast thou foreseen the storm's impending rage, when to the clouds the waves ambitious rise, and seen with heaven a doubtful war to wage, whilst total darkness overspreads the skies? Safe in the lightning's darting winged fate, quick bursting from the pitchy clouds between, in forged terror and destructive state, shalt shew with double gloom the horrid scene. Shalt thou be at this hour from danger free? Perhaps the fearful force, some falling wave, shall wash thee in the wild tempestuous sea, and in some monster's belly fix thy grave. Or, awful hap, against some wave-worn rock, which long a terror to each bark had stood, shall dash the mangled limbs with furious shock, and stain its craggy sides with human blood. Yet not the tempest, or the whirlwind's roar, equal the horrors of a naval fight, and thundering cannon spread a sea of gore, and very deaths now fire and now affright. The impatient shout, that longs for closer war, reaches from either side the distant shores, whilst frightened at the streams, and sanguine far, loud on his troubled bed, huge ocean roars. What dreadful scenes appear before my eyes! I see how each with frequent slaughter read, regardless of his dying fellow's cries, or the fresh wounds of impious, or the fresh wounds with impious order treat. From the dread place does soft compassion fly. The Furies fell, each altered breast command, whilst vengeance drunk with human blood stands by, and smiling fires each heart and arms each hand. Shouldst thou escape the fury of the day, a fate more cruel still, unhappy view, opposing winds may stop thy luckless way, and spread fell famine through the suffering crew, canst find your extreme of raging thirst, which soon may scorch thy throat. Ah, thoughtless youth, or raving hunger canst forbear which erst on its own flesh hath fixed the deadly tooth. Dubious and fluttering twixt hope and fear, with trembling hands the lot I see thee draw, ritual or sentence thee a victim drear, to that god plague which savage knows no law. Or deep thy dagger in thy friendly heart, whence each strong passion agitates thy breast, both with horror I see thee start. Hunger drives thee to the inhuman feast. These are the ills that may the cause attend, when with the joys of home contented rest, here meek-eyed peace with humble plenty lend, the aid united still to make thee blessed. To ease each pain and to increase each joy, here mute love shall fix thy tender wife, whose offspring shall thy youthful care employ, and give with brightest rays the evening of thy life. Duty Surviving Self-Love by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Unchanged within, to see a lot changed without, is a blank lot and hard to be in, no doubt. Yet why at ours warning shouldst thou fret, and we might so feel a just regret, hearts so will fail the love or hid the light, in selfish forethought of neglect and sight, wisely when from feeble yearnings fret, while, and on whom thou mayst shine on, nor heed whether the object with reflected light return with radiance or absorb it quite. And though thou notes from thy safe recess our friends burn dim, like lamps in noisome air, love them for what they are, nor love them less, because to we they are not what they were. Easter Holidays by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Hail, feastful Easter, that dost bring approach of sweetly smiling spring, where nature's clad is green, and feathered songsters through the grove of beasts confess the power of love, and brighten all the scene. No youths the breaking stages load, with swiftly jetting o'er the road the Greenwich haste away, while some with sounding oars divide, of smoothly flowing Thames the tide, or sing the festive lay. With mirthful dance the beat the ground, the shouts of joy the hills resound, and catch the jocund noise. The vow to tear, the vow to sigh, the moments all in transports fly, till evening ends the joys. But little think their joyous hearts of dire misfortunes, the riot smarts which youthful years conceal, thoughtless of bitter smiling woe which all mankind are born to know, and they themselves must feel. Yet he who wisdom's path should keep, and virtue firm but scorns to weep at ills and fortune's power, for his life's variegated scene in raging storms or calm serene, should cheerful spend the hour. But steady virtue guides his mind, heaven-born content he still shall find, but never sheds a tear. Without respect to any tide, as ours away in bliss shall glide, like Easter in all the year. Egotism, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It is hard and uncandid to a sense of the great reformers in philosophy and religion for their egotism and boastfulness. It is scarcely possible for a man to meet with continued personal abuse on account of his superior talents without associating more and more the sense of the value of his discoveries or detection of his own person. The necessity of repelling unjust contempts forces the most modest man into the feeling of pride and self-consciousness. How can a tall man help thinking of his size when dwarfs are constantly standing on tiptoe beside him? Paracelsus was a braggart and a quack, so was Cardan, but it was their merits and not their follies which drew upon them the taunt of detraction and calumny, which compelled them so frequently to think and write concerning themselves, and at length it became an habit to do so. Wolfe, too, though not a boaster, was yet persecuted into a habit of egotism both in his preface and his ordinary conversation. And the same holds of good of the founder of the Brownian system and of his great namesake Giordano Bruno. The more decorous manners of the representative attached a disproportionate opprobrium to this foible, and many wherefore abstained with cautious prudence from all displays of what they fear. Nay, some do actually flatter themselves that they abhor all egotism, and never betray it either in their writings or discourse, but watch these men narrowly. In the greater number of cases you will find their thoughts, feelings, and mode of expressions saturated with the passion of contempt, which is the concentrated vinegar of egotism. Epitaph on an Infant, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As sin could blight or sore fate, death came with friendly care, the opening but to heaven conveyed, and bade it blossom there. First mathematical problem, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. On a given finite line, which must no way incline to describe an equilateral tree ANGLE, now let A and B be the given line, which must no way incline. The great mathematician makes this requisition, that we describe an equilateral triangle on it. A does reason, A does wit. Forbearance, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Gently I took what which ungently came, and without scorn forgave, do woe the same. A wrong done to we think a cat's eye spark, wouldst not see were not thine own heart dark. Thine own keen sense of wrong, what thrists for sin, fear that the spark self-kindled from within, which blown upon will blind thee with its glare, or smothered stiffeth thee with noisome air. Clap on the extinguisher, pull up the blinds, and soon the ventilated spirit finds its natural daylight. The foe hath canned, or worse than foe, an alienated friend, a rib of dry rotten thy ship's stout sight. Think it God's message, and in humble pride with heart of oak replace it, thine the gains. Give him rotten timber for his pains. Force of Habit, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And Emir had bought a left eye of a glass eye maker, supposing that he would be able to see with it. The man begged him to give it a little time. He could not expect that it would see all at once as well as the right eye, which had been for so many years in the habit of it. Fourth mathematical problem, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. But rein your stallion in to daring nine, should empires blow out the scientific line, or with dishevelled hair, or madly do ye run for transport that your task is done? For done it is, the course is tried, and proposition gentle made, who soothly asks and demonstration's aid, has proved her right, and ABC, of angels free, is shown to be of equal sight, and the very stair to rest and find is raised upon AB, the straight the given line. Goodness of heart indispensable to a man of genius, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. If man will impartially and not asquin look toward the offices and function of a poet, he will easily conclude to himself the impossibility of any man's being a great poet without being first a good man. Ben Jonson has both his just and noble sentiment from Strabo. Hence, the lingerer, light, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Hence, the lingerer, light, eve settens into night. Mother of wildly working dreams, we view the sombre hours, and round we stand with downcast eyes and duteous bend, the dark robes dripping with a heavy dew, sorcerers of the even throng, by power of a Pixen own, and round the raven brow heaven's illusion roses glow, and clouds in watery colours dressed float in light drapery o'er our fable vest. What time the pale moon sheds a softer day, mellowing the woods beneath its pensive beam, from the quivering light it is ours to play, I dancing to the cadence of a stream. Homesick by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. 'Tis sweet to him who all the week through city crowds must push his way, to stroll alone through fields and woods on all of us for Sabbath day. And sweet it is in summer bower, sincere, affectionate and gay, one's only children feasting round to celebrate one's marriage day. But what is all to his delight, who having long been doomed to roam, throws off a bundle from his back before the door of his own home. Homesickness is a wasting pang, whose feeler hourly more and more. There's healing only in the wings, or breeze that placed on Albion shore. Human Life by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. If dead we cease to be, if total gloom swallows up life's brief flesh for aye, if fair summer guests of sudden birth and doom, with sound and motion and alone declare whatever howl of being, if a breath be life itself and not its task intent, if even a soul like Milton's can now deaf, or man, a vessel purposeless, unmean, yet to drone how strange of phantom purposes, surplus of nature's dread activity, which, as she gazes on some nigh-finished waste, retreating slow with meditative pause, she formed with restless hands unconsciously. Blank accidents, nothing's anomaly. If fruitless was substanceless by state, go away by dreams, and be by hopes, by fears, by counterweights. The love and by tears mean by themselves, each fit is to create and to repay the other. Why rejoices thy heart of hollow joy for hollow good? Thy colder face beneath a mourner's hood, were waste by sighs and by lamenting voices, image of image, ghost of ghostly elf, at such a thing as thou feels warm or cold. Yet what whence to again, if thou behold these costless shadows of a shadowy self? Be sad, be glad, be neither, seek or shun, thou hast no reason why, thou canst have none, thy being's being is contradiction. Hunting Song by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Up, ye dames, ye lassers gay, to the meadows strip away. 'Tis you must tend the flocks this morn, and scark the small birds from the corn. To the soul at home may stay, where the shepherds must go with lance and bow, to hunt the wolf in the woods today. Leave the hearth and leave the house to the cricket and the mouse. Find grandam out a sunny seat, with babe and lambkin at her feet. And the soul at home must stay, the shepherds must go with lance and bow, to hunt the wolf in the woods today. Imitated from Ossian by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The stream with languid murmur creeps, and lumens flowery veil. Beneath the dew the lily weeps, slow waving to the gale. Cease, restless gale, it seems to say, now wake me with thy sighing. The honours of my vernal day on rapid wings are flying. Tomorrow shall the traveller come, who late behold me blooming. A searching eye shall vainly roam the drear vale of lumen. With eager gaze and wetted cheek, my wonted haunts along, thus, faithful maiden, thou shalt seek the youth of simplest song. What I along the breeze shall row, the voice of feeble power, and dwell the moonbeam of thy soul in slumber's nightly hour. Imitated from the Welsh by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. If, when my passion I impart, you deem my words untrue, or place your hand upon my heart, feel how it throbs for you. I now reject the faultless claim and pity to your lover, that thrilling touch would aid the flame it wishes to discover. In the Manner of Spenser by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. O pace that on a lilied bank dost laugh, to rest thine head beneath an olive tree, I would that from the pinions of thy dove, one quell withouten pain you plucked might be. For oh, I wish my Sarah's frowns to flee, and fain to her some soothing song would write, lest she resent my rude discourtesy, who vowed to me to her the morning light, but broke my plighted word, false and recreant wit. Last night, as on my very head did pillow, the thoughts of my dissevered fair engrossed, chill fancy dropped, wrapping herself with willow, as from my breast entombed the Pinion ghost. From humblest couch young rapture's bridal boast, rejected slumber, high the wing way, but leave me with a merton hour at most. As night close flower to the Orient ray, my sad heart will expand, but I the maid survey. But love, who heard the silence of my thought, contrived too successful while, I ween, and whispered to himself with malice fraught, too long a slave for damsels' smiles have seen, to more shall he keener altered mien. He spake and ambushed lay, till on my bed the morning shot at you glances keen, when as I yearned to lift my drowsy head, no bard I'll work we woe, the love on elfin said. Sleep, softly breathing God, his downy wing was fluttering now as quickly to depart, when fanged an arrow from love's mystic string, with pathless wound pierced him to the heart. Was there some magic in the elfin start, or did he strike my couch with wizard lance? For straits of their formed that upward start, no figure decked the bowers of old Romans, but sleep and armored grew, no move from his sweet trance. My Sarah came with gentle's look divine, bright shone her eye, yet tender was its beam. As at the pressure of a lip to mine, whispering we went, and love was all our theme. Love pure and spotless, as at first, I deem it sprang from heaven, such joys of sleep that died, when I the living image of my dream fondly forgot. Too late I woke and sighed, how shall I behold my love with the eventide? Inscription for Fountain on a Heath by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. This is sycamore, oft musical with bees, such tents the patriarchs loved, or long unharmed, where all its aged boughs our canopy, the small round basin, which is jutting stone, keeps pure from falling leaves. Long may the spring, quietly as a sleeping infant's breath, sends up cold waters to the traveller with soft and even pulse. Neither keys yon tiny cone of sand its soundless dance, which at the bottom, like a fairy page, as merry and no taller, dances still, and wrinkles the smooth surface of a fount. Here twilight is, and coldness, here is moss, a soft seat, and a deep and ample shade. Thou mayst toil fair and find no second tree. Drink, pilgrim, here rest. If thy heart be innocent, here to shalt thou refresh thy spirit, listening to some gentle sound, or passing gale or hum of murmuring bees. Inward Blindness by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Talk to a blind man, he knows, he wants the sense of sight, and willingly makes the proper allowances. But there are certain internal senses which a man may want, and yet be wholly ignorant that he wants them. It is most unpleasant to converse with such persons on subjects of taste, philosophy, or religion. Of course, there is no reasoning with them, for they do not possess the facts on which reasoning must be grounded. Nothing is possible without a naked dissent which implies a sort of unsocial contempt, or what a man of kind dispositions is very likely to fall into, a heartless tactic acquiescence which borders too nearly on duplicity. Julia by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Medio de fonte de porum sugita Maria liquid. Julia was blessed with beauty, wit, and grace. Small poets loved to sing her blooming face. Before her altars low and numerous train preferred their vows, yet all preferred in vain, till charming Florio, born to conquer, came in touch with fair one with an equal flame. The flame she felt, and ill could she conceal, or even look on action would reveal. With boldness when, which seldom fails to move, he pleads the cause of marriage and of love. The course of her meals joys he rounds, with her one's eyes stuns pleasures at the sound. Naught now remained but knows how little meant, and the sweet coyness that endears consent. The youth upon his knees enraptured fell, with strange misfortune, or what words can tell. Tell ye neglected sylphs, who lapdogs guard, why snatched ye not away your precious ward? Why suffered ye the lover's weight to fall on the ill-fated neck of much-loved boy? The favourite on his mistress casts his eyes, gives a short melancholy howl, and dies. Scared his ashes lie, and long his rest. Anger and grief divide poor Julia's breast. Her eyes she fixed on guilty Florio first, on him the storm of angry grief must burst. That storm he fled, he woos a kind of fair, whose fond affections no dear puppy share. 'Twere vain to tell how Julia pined away, unhappy fair, but in one luckless day, of future's almanacs the day be crossed, and once a lover and a lapdog lost. Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. In Xanada did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alpha, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man down to a sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers were girdled round. And here the gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and here the forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. Over deep romantic chasm, which slanted down the green hill I thought a sadder cover, a savage place as holy and enchanted as ere beneath a waning moon was haunted, the woman wailing for a demon lover, and for Miss Chasm with keyless tumult seething, as if his earth had fast thick pens were breathing. A mighty fountain momently was first, amid whose swift half-intermitted burst huge fragments roared like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks at once and ever it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with a mazy motion, the wood until the sacred river ran, and reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank tumult to a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult the Kubla heard from far in crystal voices prophesying war. The shadow of a dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, there was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was the miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a to chime and a vision once I saw, it was an Abyssinian maid, and on the shimmer she played. Singing of Mount Deborah, got the wild within me, a symphony and song to such deep delight would win me. Yet with music loud and long I would build the dome and air, but sunny dome was caves of ice, nor was heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware. His flashing ice is floating here, weave a circle round him thrice. Close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed, and drank the milk of paradise. To Fayette, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As when afar off the warbled strains are heard, which saw in morning's wing the vales among, within his cage the imprisoned maiden bird swells the full chorus of a generous song. He baths nor pinion in the dewy light, nor father's joy, nor lover's bliss he shares, yet still the residing radiance cheers his sight. As fellow's freedom soothes the captive's cares, woe Fayette, who didst wake with startling voice, lies better sun from that long wintry night, thus in the country's triumph shalt rejoice, and mock with raptures high the dungeon's might. For lo, the morning struggles into day, and slavery's spectres shriek and vanish from the ray. Life, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As later journeyed o'er the extensive plain, where native otter sports a scanty stream, musing in torpid woe a sister's pain, the glorious prospect woke me from the dream. At every step it widened to my sight, a wood, meadow, verdant hill, and dreary steep, following in quick succession of delight, till all at once did my eye ravished sweep. May this, I cried, my course for life portray, new scenes of wisdom age's step display, and knowledge open as my days advance. Till what time death shall pour the undarkened ray, my eye shall dart through infinite expanse, and thoughts suspended lie in rapture's blissful trance. Limbo, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The soul choose something, this, in limbo den, it frightens ghosts of ghosts, ye frighten men. For skimming in the wake it mocked the care of the outbowed god for his farthing fare. For Iris ghost itself ne'er front blacker on, the skin and skin-pent druggist crossed the Acheron, Styx and the profligate Coctius. The very names, methinks, might vie with writers, unchanged at crust, and should some fated hour be pulversed by Demogorgon's power, and give the poison to annihilate souls, even how it shrinks them, they shrink in as moles, nature's mute monks, live mandrakes of the ground. Creep back from light, then listen for its sound, see but to dread, and dread they know not why, the natural alien of a negative eye. 'Tis a strange place, this limbo, not a place, yet name it so. Where time and where space, fettered from flight, with nightmare, sense of fleeing, strive for their last crepuscular half-being, lank space and skiffless time, with briny hands barren and soundless as the measuring sands. Not marked by flit of shades, unmeaning they as moonlight on the dial of the day. But that is lovely, looks like human time, an old man with a steady look sublime, that stops his earthly task to watch the skies. He's blind, as dead you have such eyes. Yet having moonward turned his face by chance, gazes the orb with moonlike countenance, with scant white hairs, with photo bold and high, he gazes still, his eyeless face all eye, as to an organ full of silent sight. His whole face seemeth to rejoice in light. A lip touching a lip, all moveless, bust and limp, he seems to gaze at that which seems to gaze on him. No such sweet sighs doth limbo den immure, walled round, made in spirit jail secure, but the mere horror of blank naught at all. or circumbience, Delphi's ghosts and frail, alert for this growthless deprivation, yet that is but the poor great curse. Hell knows a fear far worse, a fear, a future fate, 'tis positive negation. Lines composed in a concert room by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Nor cold nor stern, my soul, yet I detest these scanted rooms where, to a gaudy throng, heaves the proud harlot her distant breast, and entry skates of laborious song. These feel not music's genuine power, nor deign to melt nature's passion-warbled plaint, when the long-breathed singer's up-thrilled strain bursts in the squell they gave for wonderment. Hark, the deep bass of vanity and hate! Scornful yet envious, with self-torturing sneer, my lady eyes some maid of humbler state, of a pert satin, of a primer priest prattles accordant scandal in her ear. Oh, give me, from this heartless scene, released, to hear our old musician, blind and grey, whom stretching from my nurse's arms I kissed, his Scottish tunes and warlike marches play, by moonshine of the balmy summer night, the while I dance amid that headied hay, with merry maids, whose ringlets toss and light. Or lies the purple evening on the bay, of a calm glossy lake, or let me hide, unheard, unseen, behind the elder trees around, whose roots the fisher's boat is tied, on whose trim seat doth Edmund stretch at ease, and while the lazy boat sways to and fro, breathes in his flute-set airs, so wild and slow, that his own cheek is wet with quiet tears. But oh, dear Anne, the midnight wind careers, and the gust pelting on the outhouse shed, makes the cock shrilling and the rainstorm crow, to hear thee sing some ballad full of woe, ballad of shipwrecked sailor floating dead, whom his own true love buried in the sands. Thee, gentle woman, the world's grim measures, whatever tones and melancholy pleasures the things of nature utter, birds or trees, or moan of ocean gale and ready caves, or where the stiff grass mid the health-plant waves murmur music fan of sudden breeze. Lines on a Friend by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Edmund, a grave of a keen eye I scan, and inly groan for heaven's poor outcast man. 'Tis tempest all or gloom, and early youth, if gifted with a luful lance of truth. He forced to start amid a feigned caress, wise as Syrian heck and native ugliness, a brother's fate will hardly rouse the tear, and on he goes in heaviness and fear. But if his fond heart call to pleasure's bower, some pigmy folly in a careless hour, the faithless guest should stamp the enchanting ground, and mingled forms of misery rise around. Heart-fretting fear, with pallid look aghast, would courts the future woe to hide the past. Remorse, the poisoned arrow in her sight, and loud-lewd mirth to anguish closer light. Till frenzy, fierce-eyed, child of morbing pain, darts a hot lightning flash athwart the brain. Rest, injured shade, should slender, squatting near, spit her cold venom in a dead man's ear? 'Twas wine to feel the sympathetic glow, and merit's joy, and poverty's meek woe. A wine all, that cheer the moment as it flies, with soundless cares and smiling courtesies, nursed in the heart where firmer virtues grew, and in the heart they withered. Such chill dew one indolence on each young blossom shed, and vanity her filmy network spread, with eye that rolled around an asking gaze, and tongue that trafficked in the trade of praise. Fully such, the hard world marked them well, were they more wise, the proud who never fell. Rest, injured shade, with poor man's prayer of praise, on heavenward wing the wounded soul shall raise. As oft twilight gloom thy grave I pass, and fit me down upon his recent grass, within the verted eye I contemplate similitude of soul, perhaps of fate. To me hath heaven with boundless hand assigned energic reason and a shaping mind, the daring keen of truth, the patriot's part, and pity's sigh, the breaths, the gentle heart, sloth jaunted all, and from my graspless hand drop friendship's precious pearls like hourglass sand. I weep, yet stop not, the faint anguish flows, a dreamy pang and morning's feverish dose. As this piled earth for being's pathless mound, tell me, cold grave, is death poppies crowned? Tired centennial, with fitful starts I nod, and fain would sleep, though pillowed on a clod. Lines to a Beautiful Spring in the Village by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. O nice moor, sweet stream, with slow foot wandering near, I bless the milky waters cold and clear. as gave the flashing of the noontide hours with one fresh garland of Pierian flowers, as from vice a fire-haunted brink I turned, my languid hand shall wreath the mossy urn. For not through pathless growth of murmur root was soothed the sad wood-nymph solitude, nor vine unseen in cavern depths to well the hermit fountain of some dripping cell. Pride of the well, where useful streams supply the scattered cots and peaceful hamlet nigh. The elfin tribe around their friendly banks, with infant uproar and soul-soothing pranks, released from school, with little hearts at rest, launch paper knaves on their waveless breast. Rustic here Eve with pensive look, whistling long ditties leans upon his crook, or starting pauses with hope-mingled dread, to lift the much-loved maid's accustomed tread. She, vainly mindful of her dame's command, loiters, a long-filled pitcher in her hand. Unboastful stream, where found with pebbled falls, the faded form of past delight recalls the time the morning fun of hope arose, and all was joy, save when another's woes, a transient gloom upon my soul impressed, like passing clouds impictured on thy breast. Life's current then ran sparkling to the noon, or silvery stole beneath the pensive moon. Now it works through brakes and thorns among, or o'er the rough rock bursts and foams alow. Lines written in the album at Apologia Road by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I stood at broken sovereign height, and so woods crowding upon woods, hills over hills, a surging scene, and only limited by the blue distance. Heavenly my way, downward I dragged, through fire groves evermore, where bright green moss heaves in sepulchre forms, speckled with sunshine, and but seldom heard the sweet bird's song became an hollow sound. And the priest, murmuring indivisible, preserved its solemn murmur most distinct from any note of many a waterfall, and the brook's chatter, mid whose islets downs, the dingy kiddling with its tinkling bell, leapt frolicsome, or out-romantic goat set, his white beard slow waving, moved on in low and languid mood. For I had found that outward forms, the loftiest, still receive their inner influence from the life within. Fair supers of they comport, with the eye traces no spot, which the heart may read history or prophecy of friend or child or gentle maid, or first and early love or father, of a venerable name for our adorned country, of our queen, for delegated deity of earth. O dear, dear England, how my longing eye turned westward, shaping in the steady clouds thy sands and high white cliffs, my native land. Filled with a thought of thee this heart was proud, here mine eyes swarmed with tears. But all the view from southern broken woods and woody hills floated away like a departing dream, feeble and dim. Stranger, these impulses blame thou not lightly, nor will I profane with hasty judgment or injurious doubt. But man supply my spirit, who can feel that God is everywhere, the God who framed mankind to be one mighty family, himself our Father, the world our home. M. Du Puis by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Among the extravagancies of faith which have characterized many infidel writers who would swallow a whale to avoid believing that a whale swallowed Jones, a high rank should be given to Dupuis, who at the commencement of the French Revolution published a work in 12 volumes octavo in order to prove that Jesus Christ was the Son and all Christians worshippers of Mithra. His arguments, if arguments they can be called, consist chiefly of metaphors quoted from the Fathers. What irresistible conviction would not the following passage from South's Sermons have flashed on his fancy, had it occurred in the writings of Origen or Tertullian, and how complete a confutation of all his grounds does not the passage afford of those humble souls who, gifted with common sense alone, can boast of no additional light received through a track on their upper apartments. Christ, the great Son of rightness and Saviour of the world, having, by glorious rising, after a red and bloody setting, proclaimed his deity to men and angels, by a complete triumph over the two grand enemies of mankind, sin and death, set up the everlasting gospel in the room of all false religions, has not changed the Persian superstition into the Christian doctrine, and without the least approach to the idolatry of the former, made it henceforward the duty of all nations, Jews and Gentiles, to worship the rising sun. This one passage outblazes the whole host of dubious evidence and extracts. In the same sermon reader will meet with Hume's argument against miracles anticipated and put in Thomas' mouth. Melancholy by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Stretched on the mould of the abbey's broadest wall, where ruined ives prop the ruined step, Her folded arms wrapped her tattered pall, had melancholy mused herself to sleep. The fern was pressed beneath her hair, the dark green adder's tongue was rare, and still as past the flagging sea-gale weak, the long lank leaf-bud fluttering o'er her cheek. That pallid cheek was flushed, her eager look beamed eloquent in slumber, inly wrought in perfect sounds her moving lips forsook, and her bent forehead worked with troubled thought. Strange was the dream that filled her soul, nor did not whispering spirits roll a mystic tumult under fateful rhyme, mixed with wild shapings of the unborn time. Memory and Recollection by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Beasts and babies remember and example recognize, man alone recollects. This distinction was made by Aristotle. Methinks how dainty sweet it were, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Methinks how dainty sweet it were, reclined beneath the vast overshadowing branches high of some old wood, and careless thought to lie, nor for busier scenes we left behind, awed envying. And, O Anne, mild-eyed maid, beloved, I were well content to play the 5 free tresses the long summer day, cheating the time beneath a greenwood shade. Ah, sweet scenes of fancied bliss, adieu! On rose-leaf beds amid your fairy bowers, all too long I have lost the dreamy hours. Meseems it now the sterner muse to woe, if haply sure golden meet and part to realize the vision of the heart. Milton and Ben Jonson by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Those who have more faith in parallelism than myself may trace Satan's address to the sun in Paradise Lost, to the first lines of Ben Jonson, Poor Tasters. Light, I salute thee with the wounded nerves, wishing the golden splendor pitchy darkness. But even if Milton had the above in his mind, his own verses would be more fitly entitled the performances of Jonson's lines of an imitation. Monody on a Tea Kettle by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. A muse or sings late in other's pain, to Greece domestic turn their coal-black steed. Of slowest steps the funeral state must go, nodding his head in all the pomp of woe. White scatter round each dark and deadly weed, and let the melancholy dirge complain, while bat shall shriek and dog shall howling run, the tea kettle is spoilt and Coleridge is undone. Your cheerful songs, ye unseen crickets, keys, let songs of grief the altered minds engage, for you sing, responsive to your lay, what time the joyous bubbles 'gan to play. The sooty swain has felt the fire's fierce rage, yes, he's gone, and all my woes increase. At the water issuing from the wound, no more the tea shall pour its fragrant steams around. O goddess, best beloved, delightful tea, thee compared what yields the maddening vine. Sweet power, who knows to spread the calm delight, the pure joy prolong to midmost night. Must I all thy riot sweets resign, and folded close in grief her form I see, no more wilt woe extend thy willing arms, receive a fervent Jove, and yield him all thy charms. Or sink the mighty low by fate oppressed, perhaps, O kettle, or by scornful toe, rude, urged, ignoble place with plaintive din, mayst rust obscure midst heaps of vulgar tin, as if no joy had ever ceased my breast, and from thy spot the streams that arching fly, as if, infused, I hadst known to inspire the warm raptures of poetic fire. But hark! Oh, do I fancy the glad voice, what thou the swain that wondrous charms disclose? Not such did men and sisters sable dressed take these bright arms of royal face impressed. A better kettle shall thy soul rejoice, if oblivion's wings o'erspread thy woes. Thus fair hope can sift stress and toil. On empty trivets she bids fancied kettles boil. Motives and Impulses by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It is a matter of infinite difficulty, but fortunately of comparative indifference, to determine what a man's motive may have been for this or that particular action. Rather seek to learn what his objects in general are. What does he habitually wish, habitually pursue, whence deduce his impulses, which are commonly the true efficient causes of man's conduct, and without which the motive itself would not have become a motive. And the haunch of vengeance represent the motive, and the keen appetite of health and exercise the impulse. Then place the same or some favourite dish before the same man, sick, dyspeptic, and stomach-worn, and we may then weigh the comparative influences of motives and impulses. Without perception of his truth, it is impossible to understand the character of Lago, who is represented as now assigned one, and then another, and again a third, motive for his conduct, all alike from a fiction of his own restless nature, distempered by a keen sense of his intellectual superiority, and haunted by the love of exerting power on those especially who are his superiors in practical and moral excellence. Yet how many among our modern critics have attributed to the proud author this, the appropriate inconstancy of the character itself. A second illustration. Did Curio the quondam patri, reformer and semi-revolutionist, abjure his opinions, and yet the foremost in the hunt of persecution against his old friends and fellow philosophists, with a cold, clear predetermination formed at one moment and making 5,000 a year by his apostasy? I neither know nor care, probably not. But this I know, that to be thought of a man of consequence by his contemporaries, to be admitted into the society of superiors in an official rank, to excite the admiration of lords, to live in splendour and sensual luxury, hath been the object of his habitual wishes. A flash of lightning has turned at once the polarity of a compass needle, and so, perhaps now and then, but as rarely, a violent motive may revolutionize a man's opinion and professions. But more frequently his honesty dies away imperceptible from evening into twilight, and more twilight to utter darkness. It turns hypocrisy gradually, and by such tiny atoms of motion, that by the time he has arrived at a given point, he forgets his own hypocrisies and the imperceptible degrees of his conversion. The difference between such a man and Baudelaire is merely that between the hour hand and that which tells the second on the watch. Of the former you can see only the motion, of the latter both the past motion and the present moving. Yet there is, perhaps, more hope of the latter of, for he is like to mankind only, and not to himself. The former lies to his own heart, as well as to the public. Mutual Passion, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I love, and he loves me again, yet dare not tell who. That the nymph should know my swain, I fear they'd love him too. Yet while my joy's unknown, it so the buds are but half blown. What no one with me shares seems scary my own. I'll tell that if they be not glad, they yet may envy me. But then if I grow jealous mad, and of them petite be, 'twould vex me worse than scorn. And yet it cannot be forborne, unless my heart would like my thoughts be torn. He is, if I can find him, fair, and fresh and fragrant too, as after rain with summer air, and looks as lilies do, that are with morning blown. Yet I doubt he is not known. Yet I fear to have him fully shewn, but he hath eyes so large and bright, which none can see and doubt, that love might vents his torches light, for hate had put them out. But when to raise my fears, his voice, what made soever hers, will be my rival, though she have but ears. I'll tell no more, yet I love him, he loves me yet so, that never one love wished at him, our love's pure light I know. And each is so free from blame, that both of us would gain new frame, if love's strong fears would tell me his name. Nil pejus est caribe vita, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. What pleasures shall he ever find? What joys shall ever glad his heart? Or who shall heal his wounded mind, if tortured by misfortune's smart? Who humane bliss will never prove, that more than friendship mixed with love? Then without child or tender wife, to drive away each care, each sigh, lonely he treats the paths of life, a stranger to affection's tie. And when from death he meets his final doom, the mourning wife with tears of love shall wet his tomb. Though fortune, riches, honours, power, had given with every other toy, was gilded trifles of the hour, was painted nothing sure to cloy, he dies for God, his name no son shall bear, to shew the man so blessed once breathed the vital air. Ode to Georgina, Duchess of Devonshire, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And hail the chapel, hail the platform wild, where Tell directed the avenging dart, with well-strung arm at first preserved his child. Splendor's fondly fostered child, and did you hail the platform wild, where once the Austrian fell beneath the shaft of Tell? O lady, nursed in pomp and pleasure, whence learned you that heroic measure? Light as a dream your days where circles ran, from all that teaches brotherhood to man. Far, far remove, from want, from hope, from fear, enchanting music light your infant ear, obedient praises soothed your infant heart, emblazonments and old and crystal crests, with many a bright obtrusive form of art, detained your eye from nature, stately vests, that veiling strove to deck your charms divine, rich viands and the pleasurable wine, were yours unearned by toil, nor could you see the unenjoyed toiler's misery. And yet, free nature's uncorrupted child, you hail the chapel and the platform wild, where once the Austrian fell beneath the shaft of Tell. O lady, nursed in pomp and pleasure, whence learned you that heroic measure? There crowd your finely fibred frame, or living faculties of bliss, And genius to your cradle came, the forehead wreathed with lambent flame, and bending low with godlike kiss, breathed in a more celestial life, but boasts not many fair compere. A heart as sensitive to joy and fear, and some perchance might wage an equal strife, some few to nobler being wrought, co-rivals in the nobler gift afford. Yet these delight to celebrate Lord war and plummy state. Or in verse and music dress, tales of rustic happiness, pernicious tales, insidious strains, that steal the rich man's breast and mock the lot unblessed. The sordid vices and the abject pains, which evermore must be the doom of ignorance and peony. But youth, free nature's uncorrupted child, beheld the chapel and the platform wild, once the Ossian fell beneath the shaft of tale. Lady, nursed in pomp and pleasure, we learned you that heroic measure. You were a mother, that most holy name which heaven and nature bless, and may not vilely prostitute to those whose infants owe them less, and the poor caterpillar was its gaudy parent fly. You were a mother, and your bosom fed the babes that loved you. You with laughing eye, each twilight thought, each nascent feeling read, which you yourself created. Oh, delight! A second time to be a mother, thought the mother's bitter groans, another thought, and yet another, by touch or taste, by looks or tones, of a growing sense to roll, the mother of your infant's soul. The angel of the earth, who while he guides his chariot planet round the goal of day, or trembling gazes on the eye of God, a moment turned his awful face away. And as he viewed you from his aspect sweet, new influences in your being rose, blessed intuitions and communions fleet, with living nature in her joys and woes. Whenceforth your soul rejoiced to see the shrine of social liberty. O beautiful, O nature's child, 'twas whence you hailed the platform wild, where once the Austrian fell beneath the shaft of tale. O lady, nursed in pomp and pleasure, whence learned you that heroic measure? Ode to Tranquility by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Tranquility, thou better name than all the family or fame, ne'er wilt leave my riper age to low intrigue or factious rage. For oh, dear child of thoughtful truth, to thee I gave my early youth, and as the bark and blessed the steadfast shore, yet the tempest rose and scared me with its roar. Who late and lingering seeks the shrine, on him but seldom power divine, a spirit rests. Satiety and sloth, poor counterfeits of thee, mock the tired worldling. Idle hope and dire remembrance interlope, to vex the feverish slumbers of the mind. The bubble floats before, the spectre stalks behind. But me, thy gentle hand will lead at morning through the accustomed mead, and in the sultry summer seat will build me up a mossy seat. And when the gust of autumn crowds and breaks the busy moonlight clouds, the best the thought canst raise, the heart attune, light as the busy clouds, calm as the gliding moon. The feeling heart, the searching soul, to thee I dedicate the whole, and while within myself I trace the greatness of some future race, aloof of hermit eye I scan the present works of present man, and wild and dreamlike trait of blood and guile, too foolish for a tear, too wicked for a smile. On a Kiss by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Cupid, if storying legends tell aright, once framed the rich elixir of delight, a chalice or love-kindled flames he fixed, and in it nectar and ambrosia mixed. Of these the magic dews, which evening brings, brushed from the Idalian star by fair wings. Each tender pledge of sacred faith he joined, each gentler pleasure of the unspotted mind. Daydreams whose tints with sportive brightness glow, and hope, the blameless parasite of woe. The eyeless chemist heard the process rife, the steamy chalice bubbled up in sighs. Sweet sounds transpired as when the armored dove pours the soft murmuring of responsive love. The finished work who might envy vainly blame, and kisses was the precious compound's name. With half a god the superior mother blessed, and breathed on Sarah's lovelier lips the rest. On a ruined house in a romantic country by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And this swift house is wet on which he built, lamented Jack, and he is smelled, he pilled, cautious and vain. His threats with squeaks so wild, streak not uncautious of the father's guilt. Did he not see her gleaming through the glade? Belike 'twas she, the maiden of the lawn. What though she milk no cove of crumpled horn, yet aye she haunts the dale where erst she strayed, and aye beside his dog's amorous night. Still on his ties her wondrous margles are worn, and through his walls still tattered and betorn, his hint charms gleam an unearthly white, as when through broken clouds at night's high noon peeps in fair fragments forth the full-orbed harvest moon. On Brockley Coomb by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. With many a pause and oft-averted eye, I climb the combs ascent, sweet songs to sneer, warble in shade the wildwood melody. Far off the unvarying cuckoo soothes my ear. Upscore the startling stragglers of the flock that on green plots our precipice rose, from the forced fissures of the naked rock the yew tree bursts. Beneath its dark green boughs, with which the maythorn blends its blossoms white, the broad smooth stones yet out in mossy seats, I rest, and now have gained the topmost sight. What a luxury of landscape meets my gaze! Proud towers and coats more dear to me, elm shadowy fields and prospect bounding sea. Deep sighs my lonely heart, I drop the tear, enchanting spot, or were my Sarah here. On Donne's Poetry by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. With Donne, whose muse and dromedary trots rev iron pokers into true love knots, rhymes sturdy cripple, fancy's mace and clue, wits forge on the fire blast, meaning's presence crew. On her recovery from a fever by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Why need I say, Louisa dear, how glad I am to see you here, a lovely convalescence, risen from the bed of pain and fear and feverish heat incessant. The sunny showers, the dappled sky, the little birds that warble high, the vernal loves commencing, will better welcome you than I with a sweet influencing. Believe me, while in bed you lay, your danger taught us all to pray, you made us grow devoter. Each I looked up and seemed to say, how can we do without her? Beside, what vexed us worse we knew, we have no need of such as you, and the place where you were going, this world has angels all to view, and heaven is overflowing. On Observing a Blossom by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sweet flower, that peeping from thy russet stem, unfoldest timidly, for in strange thought this dark, freeze-coated horse, teeth-chattering month, half bowed Sapphire's voice, and gazed upon thee with blue voluptuous eye. Alas, poor flower, these are but flatteries of a faithless year. Perchance, escaped its unknown polar cave, even now the keen north-east is on its way. Flower that must perish, shall I liken thee to some sweet girl of too rapid growth, nipped by consumption mid untimely charms, or to Bristova's bard, the wondrous boy, an amaranth which earth scarce seemed to own, blooming mid poverty's drear wintry waste, till disappointment came and pelting wrong beat it to earth? Of indignant grief shall I compare thee to poor Poland's hope, bright flower of hope killed in the opening bud? Farewell, sweet blossom, better fade by wine, and mock my boding, dim similitudes weaving in mould strains, of stone 1 hour from anxious self, life's cruel taskmaster. And the warm wooings of a sanity tremble along my frame and harmonize the attempted organ, but even saddest thoughts, mixed with some sweet sensations like harsh tunes, play deftly on a soft-tuned instrument. On Revisiting the Seashore After Long Absence by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. God be with thee, gladsome ocean, how gladly greet I thee once more. Ships and waves in ceaseless motion, and men rejoicing on thy shore. Dissuading spake the mild physician, those briny waves for thee are death, but my soul fulfilled her mission, and lo, a breath untroubled breath. Fashion's pinning sons and daughters, that seek the crowd they seem to fly, trembling they approach thy waters, and what cares nature if they die? Mere thousand hopes and pleasures, a thousand recollections blend, thoughts sublime and stately measures, a visit on the echoing strand. Dreams, the soul herself forsaking, tearful raptures, boyish mirth, silent adorations, making a blessed shadow of this earth. O ye hopes that stir within me, health comes with you from above. God is with me, God is in me, I cannot die, if life be love. Or Through the Mystic Ringlets of the Whale by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Or through the mystic ringlets of the wavy flesher fair feet and gams and prank, or silent sandaled pale defter court circling the spirit of the western gale, where, whirled with a flower caressing sport, supine slumbers on a violent bank. When with quaint music and the parting gleam, by lonely otter's persuading stream, or where his waves with loud and quiet song dashed o'er the rocky channel forth along, or where his silver waters smooth the wrist, a tall tree's shadow sleeps upon his breast. Origin of the Worship of Human by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The origin of the worship of Human is thus related by Lactantius, the story would furnish matter for an excellent fundament. Hymen was a beautiful youth of Athens, who for the love of a young virgin disguised himself and assisted at the Eleusinian rites. At this time he, together with his beloved and divers other young ladies of that city, was surprised and carried off by pirates, who, supposing him to be what he appeared, lodged him with his mistress. In the dead of the night, when the robbers were all asleep, he rose and cut their throats. Thence, making hasty way back to Athens, he bargained with the parents that he would restore to them their daughter and all her companions, if they would consent to the marriage with them. They did so, and this marriage proving remarkable happy, it became the custom to invoke the name of Hymen at all nuptials. Pain by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Once caught the morn's first beams, the healthful breeze, all nature charm and gay was every hour. Ah, not music's self, nor fragrant bower, and glad with trembling sense of one disease. Now that the frequent pangs my flame assail, now that my sleepless eyes are sunk and dim, and seas of pain seem waving through each limb, what can all life's gilded scenes avail? I view the crowd, whom youth and health inspire, hear the loud laugh and catch the sport of lay, then sigh and think, I too could laugh and play, and gaily sported on the muse's lyre, eternal pain had chased away delight, and the wild pulse throbbed anguish through the night. Pale Roma through the night by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Pale Roma through the night, the poor forlorn, remorsed man on his deathbed possess, whom the credulous awe of tenderness betrayed, and cast thee forth to wanton scorn. The world is pitiless, the chaste one's pride, mimic of virtue scowls in thy distress. The laughs and they that envied thee deride, and vice alone will shelter wretchedness. I am sad to think that there should be cold-bosomed lewd ones, who endure to place fool offerings on the shrine of misery, and force from famine the caress of love. May he shed healing on thy forced disgrace, he the great comforter that rules above. Parliamentary Oscillators by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Almost awake? Why, what is this, and whence? Are you right, loyal men, all undefiled? Sure, 'tis not possible that common sense has hitched the pulleys to each heavy islet. Yet wherefore else that start, which discomposes the drowsy waters lingering in your eye? Are you really able to descry that precipice 3 yards beyond your noses? Yet flatter you I cannot, that your wit is much improved by this long loyal dozing, and I admire no more than Mr. Pitt your jumps and starts of patriotic prosing. Now clutching to the treasury cluck like a chicken, now the small beaks, the range's bill opposing, of serpentine, now stinging, and now licking, now semi-sibilant, now smoothly gazing. Now having faith implicit that he can't err, hoping his hopes, alarmed with his alarms, and now believing him a sly enchanter, yet still afraid to break his brittle charms. Lest some mad devil, suddenly unhampering, slapdash, the aim should fly off of the steeple on revolutionary broomstick scampering, or ye soft-headed and soft-hearted people, if you can stay so long from slumber free, you shall make an effort to salute thee. For lo, a very dainty simile flashed sudden through my brain, and it will just suit thee. You know, with waterfowl that cries "quack quack," full often have I seen a waggish crew fasten the bird of wisdom on its back, the ivy-haunting bird that cries "to-hoo." Both plunged together in the deep midstream, or farmyard pond, or mountain lake, shall as the Church and Constitution scream "to-hoo," both broad-faced, and down dives the drake. The green-necked drake once more pops up to view, stares round, cries "quack," and makes an angry poffer. Then shriller screams the bird of eyelids blue, the broad-faced bird, and deeper dives the other. Ye quaking statesmen, 'tis even so with you, one pascot is not like to another. Even so in loyalty's decoy pond, each pops up his head, as fired with British blood, hears once again the minstrel screech, and once more seeks the bottom's blackest mud. Parodies by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Parodies on new poems are read as satires on old ones, Solic of Hamlet for instance, as compliments. A man of genius may securely laugh at a mode of attack by which his reviler in half a century or less becomes his encomiast. Party Passion by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Well, sir, exclaimed the lady, vehement and passionate patronizance of Mr. Wilkes, and the day of his glory, and during the broad blaze of his patriotism, well, sir, and will you dare deny that Mr. Wilkes is a great man and an eloquent man? Oh, by no means, madam, I have not a doubt respecting Mr. Wilkes' talents. Well, but, sir, is he not a fine man too, and a handsome man? Why, madam, he squints, doesn't he? He squints, Yes, to be sure, he does, sir, but not a bit more than a gentleman and a man of sense ought to squint. Pelagianism by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Our modern latitudinarians will find it difficult to suppose that anything could have been said in the defense of Pelagianism equally absurd with facts and arguments which have been abducted in favor of original sin, taking sin as guilt. An example observes Ossian with the crime of being born. And the canon of Rabbi Akiba and Ecclesiastes 12:1, we have a story of a mother who must have been the most determined believer in the uninheritability of sin, having a sickly and deformed child, reserved that it should not be thought to have been punished for any fault of its parents or ancestors, yet having nothing else to blame the child for, she seriously and earnestly accused it before the judge of having kicked her unmercifully during her pregnancy. I am firmly persuaded that no doctrine was ever widely diffused among various nations through successive ages and under different religions, such as in the doctrine of original sin and redemption was fundamental articles of every known religion professing to be revealed, which is not founded either on the nature of things or on the necessities of our nature. The language of the schools it carries with it presumptive evidence that is either objectively or subjectively true. And the more strange and contradictory such a doctrine may appear to the understanding or discursive faculty, the stronger the presumption in its favour. For whatever satirists and scarists imagine, the human mind is now a pretty lens for absurdity. I do not, however, mean that such a doctrine should be always the best possible representation of the truth on which it is founded, for the same body casts strangely different shadows on different places and in different degrees of light, but it always does shadow out some such truth and derives its influence over our faith from our obscure perception of the truth. Yeah, even if the person himself attributes his belief of it to the miracles with which it was announced to be the founder of his religion. Pensive at Eve by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Pensive at eve on the hard world I mused, my poor heart was sad. So at the moon I gazed and sighed, for how soon eve darkens into night. When I pursued with tearful vacancy the dampy grass, which wept and glittered in the paly ray, and I did pause on me my lonely way, amused me on those wretched ones who passed through the black heath of sorrow. But alas, most of myself I thought, and it befell, at the sooth spirit of the breezy wood breathed on mine ear, all this is very well, but much of one thing is for nothing good. Ah, my poor heart's inexplicable swell. Periture Parcere Certe by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. What scholar but must at times have a feeling of splendid regret when he looks at the list of novels in 2, 3, or 4 volumes each, published monthly by Messrs. Lane, and then reflects that they are valuable works of Cudworth, prepared by himself for the press, yet still unpublished by the university which possesses them, and which ought to glory in the name of a great author. And that there is extant in MSS a folio volume of unprinted sermons by Jeremy Taylor. Surely the patronage of a gentleman of a literary fund might be employed more beneficially to the literature and to the actual literary of the country, if they would publish the valuable manuscripts that lurk in our different public libraries, and make it worthwhile of men of learning to correct and annotate the copies instead of. But we are treading on hot embers. Phantom by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. All look and likeness caught from earth, all accident of kin and birth, had passed away. There was no trace of aught on that illumined face, appraised beneath the rifted stone, but of one spirit all her own. She herself, and only she, shone through her body visibly. Phoenix by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The phoenix lives 1,000 years, a secular bird of ages, and there is never more than one at a time in the world. Yet Plutarch very gravely informs us that the brain of a phoenix is a pleasant bit, but apt to occasion the headache. By the by, there are few styles that are not fit for something. I've often wished to see Claudian's splendid poem on the phoenix translated into English verse in the elaborate rhyme and gorgeous diction of Darwin. Indeed, Claudian throughout would translate better than any of the ancients. Progress of Wise by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Nemo repenter turpissimus. Deep in the gulf of vice and woe leaps men at once with headlong throw. Him inborn truth and virtue guide, whose guards are shame and conscious pride. And some gay hour vice steals into the breast. Perchance she wears some softer virtue's vest. By unperceived degrees she tempts to stray, and far from virtue's paths she leads the feet away. When swift the soul to distant fell, will memory of the past recall, and fear before the victim's eyes that future ills and dangers rise. Hark! The voice, the lyre, the charms combine, gay sparkles in the cup, the generous wine. The inebriate dance, the fair frail nymph inspires, and virtue vanquished, scorned, her hasty flight retires. But soon do tempt the pleasure's keys, yet shame forbids return to peace, and stern necessity will force still to urge on the desperate course. The drear black paths of vice the wretch must try, where conscience flashes horror on each eye, where hate, the murder, scroll, where starts affright, are close the scene, are close, for dreadful is the sight. Que nocent docent by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. O mihi praetoritus referatsi Jupiter annos. O might mail past hours return again. No more the wen should slough around me throw her self-enslaving leaden chain. No more the precious time would I employ in giddy revels or unfaultless joy, a present joy producing future woe. Or the midnight lamp I'd love to pour, I'd seek with care fair learning's depths to sound, and give a scientific lore. Or to mature the embryo thoughts inclined, that half conceived lay struggling in my mind, the cloister's solitary gloom I'd round. 'Tis vain to wish, for time has ta'en his flight, for follies past bequeaths the fruitless tears, that follies past the future care in sight, averse mature judgments to obey. Youth owns, with pleasure owns the passion's way, but sage experience only comes with years. Reason by Thomas Taylor Coleridge. Never the mist that stands twixt God and we sublimets to pure transparency, and it sets no light and adds no stain, where reason is and when begins a reign. Recollections of Love by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. A warm with woodland where recess, love surely I have been breathing here, and the sweet bed of Heath, my dear, swells up and sings with faint caress, as if to have you yet more near. 8 springs have flown since last I lay on seaward Quantock's heavy hills, where quiet sounds from hidden rills float here and there like things astray, and high o'erhead the skylark shrills. No voices yet had made the air be music with your name, yet why, with asking look, with yearning sigh, that sense of promise everywhere beloved, flew your spirit by? As when a mother doth explore the rosemark on a long-lost child, I loved you, maiden mild, as whom I long had loved before, so deeply had I been my guide. You stood before me like a thought, a dream remembered in a dream, but when those meek eyes first did seem to tell me, love within your wrought, how greeter, dear domestic stream. Has not since then love's prompt the deep, has not love's whisper evermore been ceaseless as the gentle roar? Some voice, when other voices sleep, the undersong and clamorous hour. Reflections on having left a place of retirement by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Low was our pretty cot, our tallest rose peeped at the chamber window. We could hear at silent noon and eve and early morn the sea's faint murmur. In the open air our myrtles blossomed, and across the park thick jasmines twined. The little landscape around was green and woody, refreshed the eye. It was a spot which you might aptly call the Valley of Seclusion. Once I saw hollowing his Sabbath day by quietness, a wealthy son of commerce sauntered by, restored a citizen. Methought it calmed his thirst of idle gold and made him use of wiser feelings, for he paused and looked through pleasant sadness and gazed all around. Then eyed our cottage and gazed round again and sighed and said it was a blessed place, and we were blessed. Oft, with patient ear, long listening to the viewless skylark's note, viewless, or hardly for a moment seen gleaming on sunny wings, in whispered tones I've said to my beloved, such a sweet girl, the inobtrusive song of happiness an earthly minstrelsy, but only heard when the soul seeks to hear, when all is hushed and the heart listens. But the time when first, from that low dell, steep up the stony mount I climbed with perilous toil and reached the top, oh what a goodly scene! Here the bleak mount, the bare bleak mountain, speckled thin with sheep, grey clouds, the shadowing spot the sunny fields, a river now with bushy rocks overbroad, now winding bright and full with naked banks, and seats and lawns, the abbey and the wood, and cots and hamlets and faint city spires, the channel there, the islands and white sails. Dim coasts and cloud-like hills and shoreless ocean, it seemed like omnipresence. God, methought, had built him there a temple. The whole world seemed imaged in its vast circumference. no wish profaned my overwhelmed heart, blessed hour it was a luxury to be. Quite dealt, dear court and mount sublime, I was constrained to quit you. Was it right, while my unnumbered breath and toiled and bled, that I should dream away the entrusted hours on rose-leaf beds, pampering the coward heart, the feelings all too delicate for use? Sweet is the tea that from some Howard's eye drops on the cheek of one he lifts from earth, and he that works me good with unmoved face does it but half. He chills me while he aids my benefactor, not my brother man. Yet even this cold beneficence, praise it, O my soul, oft as thou scanst. The sluggard pities the vision-weaving tribe, who sigh for wretchedness, yet shun the wretched, nursing in some delicious solitude their slothful loves and dainty sympathies. I therefore go and join head, heart, and hand, active and firm, to fight the bloodless fight of science, freedom, and the truth in Christ. Yet often after honorable toil rests the tired mind, and waking laughs to dream, my spirit shall visit thee, dear cot, a jasmine and the window peeping rose, a myrtle's fearless of a mild sea air. Thou shalt sigh fond wishes, sweet abode, I had none greater, and that all had such. It might be so, but the time is not yet. Speed it, our Father, let thy kingdom come. Second mathematical problem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. From the centre A and the distance AB, describe the circle BCD. At the distance BA from B the centre, around ACE to describe boldly venture. Third postulate C. And from the point C, in which the circles make buffer, cutting and slashing one another, between straight lines the journeying go. CA, CB, those lines will show to the points which by A and B are reckoned, and postulate the second for authority ye know. ABC, triumphant shall be an equilateral triangle, not Peter Pinder carp, that Solius can wrangle. Sense and Common Sense by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I've noticed two main evils in philosophizing. The first is the absurdity of demanding proof of the very facts which constitute the nature of them who demands it, a proof of those primary and unceasing revelations of self-consciousness which every possible proof must presuppose, reasoning, for instance, pro and con concerning the existence of a power of reasoning. Other truths may be ascertained, and these is certainty itself, all at least which we mean by the word, and are the measure of everything else which we deem certain. The second evil is that of mistaking for such facts my general prejudice, and those opinions that, having been habitually taken for granted, are dignified with the name of common sense. Of these, the first is the more injurious to the reputation, the latter more detrimental to the progress of philosophy. In the affairs of common life we very probably appeal to common sense, but it is absurd to reject the results of a microscope from the negative testimony of the naked eye. Knives are sufficient for the table and the market, but for the purpose of science we must dissect with a lancet. As an instance of the latter evil, take the truly powerful and active intellect Sir Thomas Browne, who thought he had written a huge volume in dedication of vulgar errors, yet peremptorily pronounced the motion of the earth round the sun, and consequently the whole of the Copernican system, unworthy of any serious confutation, as being manifestly repugnant to common sense, which is said, common sense, like a miller's scales used to weigh gold or glasses, may and often does become very gross, though unfortunately not very common nonsense. And as for the former, which may be called logica praepostera, I've read a metaphysical essays of no small fame, arguments drawn ab extra and proof and disproof of personal identity, which, ingenious as they may be, were clearly anticipated by the little old woman's appeal to a little dog for the solution of the very same doubts, occasioned by her petticoats having been cut round about. If it not me, he'll hark and he'll rail. If it is not me, he'll bark and he'll rail. But if I be I, he'll wag his little tail. Sensibility by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. An obscure and short-lived periodical publication which has long since been used of as winding sheets for herrings and pilchards, I met with one paragraph which deserves preservation, as connected with public evils in general, as well as more particularly with the subject noticed in the former volume. There is observable among the many a false sensibility, prompting them to remove those evils and those alone which disturb their enjoyments by being present to their senses. Other miseries, though equally certain and far more terrible, they not only do not endeavour to remedy, they support them, they fatten on them. Provided the dunghill be not before their parlour window, we are well content to know that it exists, and that it is the hotbed of the luxuries. To this grievous failing we must attribute the frequency of war and the long continuance of the slave trade. The merchant found an argument against it in the ledger, where citizens at the crowded feast was not nauseated by the filth of a slave vessel. The fine lady's nerves were not shattered by the shrieks. She could sip a beverage sweetened with the product of human blood, and worse of it of human guilt, and weep the while over the refined sorrows of Werther or of Clementina. But sensibility is not benevolence. Nay, by making us tremblingly alive to trifling misfortunes, it frequently precludes it and induces effeminate and cowardly selfishness. Our own sorrows, like the princes of hell in Milton's Pandemonium, sit in front of bulky and vast, where the miseries of our fellow creatures dwindle into pygmy forms, and are crowded, an innumerable multitude. Under some dark corner of the heart, there is one criterion by which we may always distinguish benevolence from mere sensibility. Benevolence impels to action, and is accompanied by self-denial. Spleen Leaves by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Near the lone pyre with ivy overspread, fast by the rivulet's sleep-persuading sound, where sleeps the moonlight on yon verdant bed, or humbly press that consecrated ground. For there does Edmund rest, the learn's vein, and where his spirit most delights to rove. Young Edmund, famed for each harmonious strain, and the sore wounds of ill-requited love. Like some tall tree that spreads its branches wide, and also westward with its soft perfume, his manhood blossomed, till the faithless pride of fair Matilda sank him to the tomb. But soon did righteous heaven her guilt pursue, where'er with wildered steps she wandered pale, Sir Edmund's image rose to blast the view, Sir Edmund's voice accused her in each gale. With keen regret and conscious guilt's alarms, in the pomp of affluence she pined, nor all that lured her faith from Edmund's arms cold lulled the wakeful hour of her mind. Go, traveller, tell the tale of sorrow fraught, some tearful maid perchance, or blooming youth, may hold it in remembrance, and be taught that riches cannot pay for love with truth. Song by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. O wailed in spires of myrtle riff, love's sword that cuts its sheath, and through the clefts itself has made, we spy the flashes of a blade. But through the clefts itself has made, we likewise see love's flashing blade, that rust consumed or snipped in twain, only hilt and stump remain. Songs from Apologia by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. A sunny shaft did I behold, from sky to earth it slanted, a poisoned vein a bird so bold, sweet bird, a word enchanted. He sank, he rose, he twinkled, he trode, in that shaft of sunny mist, his eyes of fire, his beak of gold, or else of amethyst, and thus he sang, adieu, adieu. Love's dreams prove seldom true, the blossoms will make no delay, the sparkling dewdrops will not stay, sweet month of May, we must away, far, far away, today, today. Sonnet composed on a journey homeward by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Oft o'er my brain does its strange fancy roll, which makes the present, where the flashed of last, seem a mere semblance of some unknown past, mixed with such feelings as perplexed the souls have questioned in their sleep, and some have said, we lived there yet this robe of flesh we wore. O my sweet babe, when I reach my door, if heavy looks shall tell me thou art dead, as sometimes, through excess of hope I fear, I think that I should struggle to believe, for were the spirit to this nether sphere, sentence for some more venial crime to grieve, didst scream then spring to meet heaven's quick reprieve, while we wept idly of our little briar. Sonnet to a Friend by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Charles, my slow heart was only sad, and first I scanned that face of feeble infancy. For dimly on my thoughtful spirit burst all I had been and all my child might be. But when I saw it on its mother's arm, and hanging at her bosom, she the while bent o'er its features with a tearful smile, then I was thrilled and melted, and most warm impressed the father's kiss, nor beguiled of dark remembrance and presageful fear. I seemed to see an angel form appear. 'Twas even thine, beloved woman mild, so for the mother's sake the child was dear, and dear was the mother for the child. Statistics by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. We all remember Burke's curious assertion that there were 80,000 incorrigible Jacobins in England. Mr. Colquhoun is equally precise in the number of beggars, prostitutes, and thieves in the city of London. Maxentius, who wrote under Louis XV, seems to have afforded the pretence. He assures his readers that by an accurate calculation there were 50,000 ignorable atheists in the city of Paris. Atheism then may have been a co-cause of the French Revolution, but it should not be burthened on it as its monster child. Tell's Birthplace by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Mark this holy chapel well, the birthplace of Sir William Tell. Here, where stands God's altar dread, stood his parents' marriage bed. Here first an infant to her breast, him his loving mother pressed, and kissed the babe and blessed the day, and prayed as mothers used to pray. Vouchsafe them health, O God, and give a child the servant still to live. But God had destined to do more for him than through an armed power. God gave him reference of laws, yet stirring blood and freedom's cause, a spirit to his rocks akin, the eye of a hawk, and the fire therein. To nature and to holy writ alone did God the boy commit, where fleshed and roared the torrent of the southbound wings and soared aloft. The straining oar, the Hamois chase, had formed his limbs to strength and grace. On wave and wind the boy would toss was great, nor knew how great he was. He knew not that his chosen hand, made strong by God his native land, would rescue from the shameful yoke of slavery, the which he broke. Text sparing by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. When I hear, as who now can travel 20 miles in a stagecoach without the probability of hearing, an ignorant religious quote an unconnected sentence of half a dozen words from any part of the Old or New Testament, and resting on the little sense of these words the eternal misery of all who reject, nay, even of all those countless myriads who have never had the opportunity of accepting this and sundry other articles of faith conjured by the same textual magic, I ask myself what they dear this person from of the Bible, that they should use it in a way which they themselves use no other book in. They deem the whole written by inspiration. Well, but is the very essence of rational discourse, in example, connection, and dependency, done away because the discourse is infallibly rational? The mysteries which these spirits Linux detect in the simplest text remind me of the 500 nondescripts, each as large as his own black cat, which Dr. Cathethelto, by aid of his solar microscope, discovered in a drop of transparent water. But to a contemporary, who has not thrown his lot in the same helmet with them, these fanatics think it is crime to listen. Let them then, or far rather, let those who are in danger of infection from them, attend to the golden aphorisms of the old and orthodox divines. Sentences and scriptures, says Dr. Dunn, like hairs and horsetails, concur in one root beauty and strength, but being plucked out one by one, serve only for springs and snares. The second has transcribed from the previous delightful works, inspired writings are an inestimable treasure to mankind, for so many sentences, so many truths, but in the true sense of them must be known. Otherwise, so many sentences, so many authorized falsehoods. The Blossoming of a Solitary Date Tree by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Beneath the blaze of a tropical sun, the mountain peaks are the thorns of frost, for the absence of objects who reflect the rays. What no one with us shares seems scarce our own. The presence of the one, the best beloved, who loveth me the best, is for the heart with the supporting air, from within is the hollow globe with its suspended car. Deprive it of this, and all without, it would have buoyant it aloft, even to the seat of the gods, becomes a burthen and crushed it into flatness. The finer the sense for the beautiful and the lovely, the fair and lovely of the object presented to the sense, the more exquisite the individual capacity of joy, and the more ample his means of opportunities of enjoyment, the more heavily will he feel the ache of solitariness, the more unsubstantial becomes the feast spread around him. What matters it, whether in fact the vidance and the ministering graces are shadowy or real, to him who has no hand to grasp, nor arms to embrace them? Hope, imagination, honorable aims, free commune with a choir that cannot die, science and song, delight in little things, boy and child surviving in the man, fields, forests, ancient mountains, ocean, sky, with all their voices, how dare I accuse my earthly lot as guilty of my spleen, or cast my destiny? Oh no, no, it is a largess and an overflow which, being incomplete, disquieteth me so. For never touch of gladness stirs my heart, but timorously beginning to rejoice, like a blind Arab, at from sleep doth start in lonesome tent, I listen for the voice. Beloved, 'tis not thine, thou art not there. The melts bubble into idle air, wishing without hope I restlessly despair. The mother with anticipated glee smiles of a child that, standing by her chair, and flattening its round cheek upon her knee, looks up, and of its rosy lips prepare to mock the coming sound. Ah, that sweet sigh! She hears her own voice with a new delight, and if the babe perchance should lisp the notes aright, then is she tenfold gladder than before. But should disease or change the darling take, what when away those songs, which sweet of yore, were only sweet for the sweet echo's sake? Dear maid, the prattle at the mother's knee was as so dearly prized as I prize thee. I was a maid for love, and love denied to me. The Complaint of Ninafoma by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. How long will you round me be swelling, or ye blue tumbling waves of a sea? Not always in caves was my dwelling, nor beneath the cold blast of a tree. Through the high founding hills of Kafloma, and the steps of my beauty I strayed, with always beholding her former, the blessed, the white-bosomed maid. A ghost upon my cavern it darted, and moonbeams the spirit was dressed, for lovely I appeared the departed, and there wizard the dreams of my rest. But disturbed by the tempest's commotion, fleet the shadowy forms of delight. Keys for shrill blast of the ocean, to hold through my cavern by night. The Dungeon by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. In this place a forfeit was made for man. This is the process of our love and wisdom to each poor brother who offends against us, most innocent perhaps, and what of guilty? Is this the only cure, merciful God? Each poor natural outlet shriveled up by ignorance and parching poverty, his energies roll back upon his heart and stagnate and corrupt, till changed to poison they break out on him like a loathsome plague spot, when we call in our pampered mountebanks, and this is their best cure, uncomforted and friendless solitude, groaning in tears and savage faces at the cleansing hour, seen through the steams and vapour of his dungeon, by the lamp's dismal twilight. So I lie circled with evil till his very soul unmolds its essence, hopelessly deformed by sighs of evermore deformity. With other ministrations woe o'er nature, heals a wandering and distempered child, for pours on him by soft influences, by sunny hues fair forms, and breathing sweets, by melodious of woods and winds and waters, till he relent and can no more endure to be a jarring and a dissonant thing amid this general dance and minstrelsy, but bursting into tears wins back his way, his angry spirit healed and harmonized, with the benignant touch of love and beauty. The Aeolian Harp by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. My pensive Sarah, thy soft cheek reclined thus on mine arm, most soothing sweet it is to sit beside our court are ground with wild-flowered jasmine and broad-leaved myrtle, meet emblems they of innocence and love. And watch the clouds, that late are rich with light, slow setting round and mark the star of eve, serenely brilliant, such should wisdom be, shine opposite, exquisite askance, snatched from yon bean field, and worlds so hushed. The stilly murmur of a distant sea tells us of silence, and that simple lute placed lengthways in the clasping casement hark. How by the desultory breeze caressed, like some coy maid half yielding to a lover, it pours such sweet upbraidings as must needs tempt to repeat the wrong, and now it strings boldly aswept the long sick questions notes of a delicious surges sink and rise. Such a soft floating witchery of sound does twilight elephants make, and waked eve voyage in gentle gales of fairyland, the melodious around honey-dropping flowers, footless and wild birds of paradise, of the only life within us and abroad, which meets all motion and becomes its soul, a light and sound, a sound like power and light, rhythm in all fort and joyance everywhere. Methinks it should have been impossible not to love all things in a world so filled that the breeze warbles and the mute still airs music slumbering on its instrument. And thus, my love, as on the midway slope of yonder hill I stretch my limbs at noon, but through my half-closed eyelids I behold the sunbeams dance like diamonds on the main, and tranquil muse upon tranquillity. For many a thought uncalled and undetained, and many idle flitting fantasies traverse mainland and passive brain, as wild and the rise as random gales which swell and flutter on the subject lute. And what if all of animated nature be but organic harps diversely framed, that tremble into thought as Arm sweeps plastic and vast, when intellectual breeze at once the sound of each and God of all? But thy more serious eye a mild reproof darts, thou beloved woman, nor such thoughts dim and unhallowed dost thou not reject, and biddest me walk humble with my God. Meek daughter in the family of Christ, well hast thou said and holily dispraised. These shapings of the unregenerate mind, bubbles that glitter as they rise and break on thine philosophy's eye-babbling spring, for never guileless may I speak of him, the incomprehensible, I say, from with awe I praise him, and the faith that inly feels, who with his saving mercies healed me, a sinful and most miserable man, wild-eyed and dark, and gave me to possess peace, and was caught in thee, hard-honoured maid. The French Revolution by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Much in my early youth I loved to dwell, and yet I bade with friendly dawn farewell, the first, beneath the echoing cloisters pale, heard of guilt and wondered at the tale. Yet while the hours flew by on careless wing, full heavily of sorrow would I sing. As the south evening flung its beam in broken radiance on the wavy stream, my soul amid the pensive twilight gloom mourned with the breeze, O Limbo, o'er thy tomb. Where I wandered, pity still was near, breathed from the heart and glistened in the tear. No kneel that toiled, but filled my anxious eye, and suffering nature wept that one should die. Thus to sad sympathies I soothed my breast, calm as the rainbow in the weeping west. When slumbering freedom rose by high disdain, with giant fury burst the triple chain. Fierce on her front the blasting dogstar glowed, her banners like a midnight meteor flowed. With the yelling of a storm-rent skies she came, and scattered battles from my eyes. Then exultation waked the patriot fire, and swept with wilder hand the Aeolian lyre. Red from the torrents, wonder shook the lance, and strode in joy the reeking plains of France. In ghastly horror lie the oppressors low, my heart aches for mercy struck the blow. As though it fought once more seek the blade, the peaceful virtue weaves the myrtle braid. Oh, if eyes whose holy glances hurl the eloquent messengers of a pure soul, if smiles more winning, and a gentler mien, and the love while that maniac's brain hath seen, shaping celestial forms in vacant air, if these demand the impassioned poet's care, if mirth and softened sense and wit we find the blameless features of a lovely mind, then hardly shall my trembling hand assign the fading rift to beauty's saintly shine. Nor Sarah, while these early flowers refuse, ne'er lurked the snake beneath their simple hues, nor purple bloom the child of nature brings from flattering nightshade as he feels he sings. The Garden of Boccaccio by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Of late, in one of those most weary hours, when life seems emptied of all genial powers, ready mood which he who ne'er has known may bless his happy lot, I sat alone, and from the numbing spell to win relief, caught on the past for thought of glee or grief. In vain, bereft alike of grief and glee, I sate, car o'er my own vacancy, as I watched the dull continuous ache, which all else slumbering seemed alone to wake. O friend, long wont to notice yet conceal, and soothe by silence what words cannot heal, I but half saw that quiet hand of thine placed on my desk this exquisite sign, Boccaccio's garden and its fairy, the love, the joyance, and the gallantry, an idol with Boccaccio's spirit warm, framed in the silent poesy of form, like flocks adown a newly bathed steep, emerging from a mist, or like a stream of music soft that not dispels sleep, but casts in happier modes the slumberous dream. Gazed by night eye with silent might, the picture stole upon my inward sight. A tremulous warmth crept gradually o'er my chest, as though an infant's finger touched my breast. And one by one, I know not whence, were brought all spirits of power that most had stood my fort, in selfless boyhood on a new world tossed of wonder, and in its own fancies lost. What charmed my youth that, kindled from above, laughed, and sought a form for love, or lent a lustre to the earnest scan of manhood, musing what and whence is man. Many a verse, which to myself I sang, that woke the tear, yet stole away the pang of hopes which in lamenting I renewed. Thanks, gentle artist, now I can descry the fair creation of the mastering eye, and all awake and unfixed gaze stand, no wonder through the Eden of her hand. I see no longer, I myself am there, sit on a groundsward in the banquet chair. 'Tis I, with sweet lute's love-echoing strings, and gaze upon the maid who gazing sings, or pause and listen to the tinkling bells from the high tower, and think that there she dwells. With all Boccaccio's soul I stand possessed, and breath an air-like life that swells my chest. Still in the garden let me watch their pranks, with its sly satire peeping through the leaves. The Happy Husband by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Oft methinks, the while the thee I breath, as from the heart, thy dear and dedicated name, I hear promise and a mystery, a pledge of more than passing life, yea, and that very name of wife. A pulse of life ne'er can sleep, a feeling that uprates the heart, with happiness beyond desert, and gladness half requests to weep. Noblesse and not the keener sense, and unalarmed turbulence of transient joys that ask nor sting from jealous fears or coy denying, but born beneath love's brooding wing, and into tenderness soon dying, wheel out the giddy moment, and resign the soul to love again. A more precipitant vein of notes that eddy in the flow, or smoothest song, they come, they go, and leave a sweeter understrain, its own sweet self, a love of thee that seems, yet cannot greater be. The Knight's Tomb by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Where's the grave of Sir Arthur O'Cailin? Where may the grave of that good man be? At the side of a spring, on the breast of Helvellyn, under the twigs of your young birch tree? The oak that in summer was sweet to hear, and rustled its leaf in the fall of the year, and whistled and roared in the winter alone, is gone, the Burke in its stead is grown. The knight's bones are dust, and his good sword rust, his soul is with the saints, I trust. The Nose by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Your souls unused to lofty verse, who sweep the earth with lowly wing, like sand before the blaster's purse, a nose, a mighty nose, I sing, as earth's Prometheus fell from heaven with fire to animate the wonder of his hand, as with unhallowed hands or muse aspire, from my subject snatch a burning brand. So like the nose I sing, my verse shall glow, like flicker from my verse and waves of fire shall flow. Light of his one still darksome spot, where now their glad course mortals run, firstborn of Sirius begot, born the focus of the sun. I call thee for such thy earthly name, what name so high, but what too low must be. Comets, the most that drink the solar flame, are but faint types and images of we. Burn, madly fire, o'er earth and ravage run, then blush for shame, more red by fierce are outdone. I saw them from the turtle face, the thick dark smoke and volumes arose. I saw the darkest of the mist encircle thee, O nose. Shorn of our race, thou shot'st a fearful gleam, the turtle quivered with prophetic fright, gloomy and silent through the night of steam. So Satan's nose, then dust unurged to flight, glowing from gripe of red-hot pieces dread, aforth the smokes of hell disastrous twilight shed. The furies to madness my brain devote, in ropes of ice my body wrapped, on belly flames of fire afloat. Hear ye my entrails, how they snap? Some power unseen forbids my lungs to breathe. What fire-clad mephers around my whizzing fly, avertify thy torrid zone beneath. Proboscis fierce, I am calcient, I die. Was like great Pliny in Vesuvius' fire, I perish in the blaze where I the blaze admire. The Pains of Sleep by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. On my bed my limbs I lay, it hath not been my use to pray with moving lips or bended knees, but silently by slow degrees my spirit I to love compose, and humble trust mine eyelids close, with reverential resignation, no wish conceived nor thought expressed, only a sense of supplication, a sense o'er my soul impressed, that I am weak yet not unblessed, since in me round me everywhere eternal strength and wisdom are. But yesternight I prayed aloud in anguish and in agony, upstarting from the fiendish crowd of shapes and thoughts that torture me. A lured light, a trembling throng, sense of intolerable wrong, and whom I scorned was only strong. Thirst of revenge, the powerless will still baffled and yet burning still, desire with loathing strangely mixed, on wild or hateful objects fixed, fantastic passions, maddening brawl, and shame and terror over all. Deeds to be hid which were not hid, which all confused I could not know whether I suffered or I did. For all seemed guilty, remorse or woe, my own or other still the same, life-stifling fear, soul-stifling shame. So 2 nights passed, the night's dismay saddened and stunned the coming day. Sleep, the white blessing, seemed to me distemper's worst calamity. The 3rd night, when my own loud scream had awaked me from the fiendish dream, overcome with suffering strange and wild, I wept as I had been a child. And having thus my tears subdued, my anguish to a milder mood, such punishments, I said, were due to natures deeply stained with sin, for I in tempesting anew the unfathomable hell within, the horror of the deeds to view, to know and loathe, yet wish and do. Such griefs with such men will agree, but wherefore fall on me? To be beloved is all I need, and whom I love indeed. The Pharaohs at Alexandria by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Certain full and highly wrought dissuasives from sensual indulgences, the works of theologians as well as of the satirists and story writers may, not unaptly, remind one of the Pharaohs, the many lights of which appeared at a distance as one, and this is a polar star, so as more often to occasion wrecks than prevent them. At the base of the Pharaohs the name of a reigned monarch was engraved on a composition which the artist well knew would last no longer than the king's life. Under this, and cut deep in the marble itself, was his own name and dedication. Sostratus of Gyndus, son of Dextiles, to the gods protectors of sailors. So will it be with the Georgium seed with Ferdinanda. Flatters plasters of Paris will crumble away, and under it we shall read the names of Herschel, Piozzi, and their compeers. The Presence of Love by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And in life's noisiest hour, where whisper still the ceaseless love of we, the heart's self-solace and soliloquy, you mould my hopes, you fashion me within, to the leading love throb in the heart, through all my being, through my pulses beat. You lie in all my many thoughts, like a light, like a fair light of dawn or summer eve, on rippling stream or cloud-reflecting lake. And looking to the heaven that bends above you, how oft I bless the lot that made me love you. The Raven by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Underneath a huge oak tree there was a swine, a huge company, that grunted as they crunched the mast. For that was ripe, and fell full fast. Then they trotted away, the wind grew high. One a corn they left, and no more might you spy. Next came a raven that liked not such folly. He belonged, it was said, to the witch Melancholy. Blacker was he than blackest yet, flew low in the rain, and his feathers not wet. He picked up the acorn and buried it straight by the side of a river both deep and great. Where then did the raven go? He went high and low, over hill, over dale, did the black raven go. Many autumns, many springs travelled he with wandering wings. Many summers, many winters, I can't tell half his adventures. At length he came back, and with them a she, and the acorn was grown to a tall oak tree. They built them a nest in the topmost bough, and young ones they had, and were happy anew. But soon came a woodman, and leathern guise, his brow like a penthouse hung over his eyes. He'd an axe in his hand, not a word he spoke, but with many a hem and a sturdy stroke, at length he brought down the poor raven's own oak. His young ones were killed, or they could not depart, and the mother did die of a broken heart. The boughs from the trunk the woodman did sever, and they floated it down on the course of a river. They sawed it in planks, and its bark they did strip, and with this tree and others they made a good ship. The ship it was launched, but in sight of land such a storm there did rise, as no ship could withstand. It bulged on a rock, and the waves rushed and fast. The old raven flew round, and caught to the blast. He heard the last shriek of the perishing souls. See, see, o'er the topmost the mad water rolls. Right glad was the raven, and off he went fleet, and death riding home on a cloud he did meet. And he thanked him again and again for the street. They had taken us all, and revenge was sweet. We must not think so, but forget and forgive. What heaven gives life to, we'll still let it live. The Kiss by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As late each flower with sweetest blows I plucked, the garden's bright, then the petals of a rose a sleeping love I spied. Around his brows a beamy wreath of many illusioned hue, all purple glowed his cheek beneath, inebriated with dew. I softly seized the unguarded power, nor scared his balmy rest, and placed him caged within the flower on spotless Sarah's breast. And then, unweeting of the guile, evoke a prisoner sweet, he struggled to escape a while and stamped his fair feet. Ah, soon the soul-entrancing sight subdued the impatient boy. He gazed, he thrilled with deep delight, and clapped his wings for joy. He cried, of magic kind, what charms his frown and dear? Some other love let Venus find, I'll fix my empire here. The Sigh by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. When youth's fair reign began, or so had proclaimed me man, while peace the present hour beguiled, and all the lovely prospect smiled, then, Mary, mid my lightsome glee, I heaved the painless sigh for thee. And when, along the waves of woe, my harassed heart was doomed to know the frantic burst of outrage keen, and the slow pang that gnaws unseen, then shipwrecked on life's stormy sea, I heaved an anguished sigh for thee. But soon reflection's power impressed a stiller sadness on my breast, and sickly half of warning eye was well content to drop and die. I yielded to the stern decree, yet heaved a languid sigh for thee. And though in distant climes to roam, a wanderer from my native home, I fain would soothe a sense of care, and lull to sleep the joys that were. The image may not banished be, still, Mary, still I sigh for thee. The Silver Thimble by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As oft mine eye with careless glances galloped through some old romance, oft speaking birds and steeds with wings, giants and dwarfs and fiends and kings. Beyond the rest with more attentive care, I've laughed to read of elfin-favoured fair, where she longed for aught beneath the sky, and suffered to escape on votive sigh, wafted along on viewless pinions airy, it laid itself obsequence of her feet. Such things I thought one might not hope to meet, save in the dear delicious land of Fairy. But now, by proof I know it well, there's still some peril in free wishing. Politeness is a licensed spell, and you, dear sir, the arch-magician. You much perplexed me by the various set, they were indeed an elegant quartet. My mind went to and fro, and wavered long. At length I've chosen, Samuel thinks me wrong, that around his azure rim silver figures seem to swim, like fleece-white clouds that on the sky blue, waked by the breeze, the self-same shapes retain, or ocean nymphs with limbs of snowy hue, slow floating over calm cerulean plain. Just such a one, mon cher ami, a finger-shield of industry, the inventing gods a deemed to Pallas gave, or time the vain arcane, madly brave, challenged the blue-eyed virgin of the sky, a duel in embroidered work to try. And hence the timid finger of grave Pallas to entering needle's point was more than salus. But the poor Arachne, she unarmed, blundering through hasty eagerness, alarmed of all the rival's hopes, mortal's fears, still missed the stitch and stained the web with tears. Unnumbered punctures, small yet sore, full fretfully the maiden bore, till she her lily finger fond, crimsoned with many a tiny wound, and to her eyes, suffused with watery woe, a flower embroidered web danced dim, I wist, like blossomed shrubs and quick-moving mist, till vanquished, the despairing maid sunk low. O bard, whom sure common muse inspires, earned your verse glows with festal fires, and I, from unwatched needle's erring point, had surely suffered on each finger joint. Those wounds which erst did poor Arachne meet, while he, the much-loved object of my choice, my bosom filling with enthusiast heat, poured on mine ear the deep impressive voice, how the great prophet of the desert stood, and preacheth of penitence by Jordan's flood, on woe, or else the legendary lace, simplest measures, whom to Allah's praised. Or what the bard from his heart's inmost stores, or his friends graven loftier numbers pours. Yes, bard polite, you but obeyed the laws of justice, than the thimble you had sent. What wounds your fond bewildering muse might cause, 'tis well, your finger-shielding gifts prevent. The Virgin's Cradle Hymn by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sleep, sweet babe, my cares beguiling, mother sits beside thee smiling. Sleep, my darling, tenderly, if thou sleep not, mother mourneth, singing as the wheel she turneth, come, soft slumber, balmily. The Visionary Hope by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sad Lord, to have no hope, though lowly kneeling, he fain would frame a prayer within his breast, would fain entreat for some sweet breath of healing, that the sick body might have ease and rest. He strove in vain, a dull sighs from his chest, against his will the stiffening load revealing. Though nature forced, though like some captive guest, some royal prisoner at his conqueror's feast, an alien's restless mood, but half concealing, with sternlessness on his gentle brow confessed, sickness within and miserable feeling. Though obscure pangs made curses of his dreams, and dreaded sleep each night repelled in vain, each night was scattered by its own loud screams, yet never could his heart command, though fain, one deep full wish to be no more in pain. That hope which was his inward bliss and boast, which wanned and died, yet ever near him stood, what changed in nature, wander where he would, for love despairs but hope's pinning ghost, for this one hope he makes his hourly moan, he wishes and can wish for this alone. Pierced as with light from heaven, before its gleams, so the love-stricken visionary deems, diseases would vanish like a summer shower, whose dews fling sunshine from the noontide bower. Or let it stay, yet this one hope should give such strength that he would bless his pains and live. The Visit of the Gods by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Never believe me, appear the mortals, never alone. Scarce had I welcome the sore beguiler, Lachos, but in calm boy Cupid the smiler, low Phoebus the glorious descants from his throne, advance there flowed in the Olympians all, with divinities fills my terrestrial hall. How shall I yield you due entertainment, celestial choir? Me rather, bright guests, with your wings of buoyance, be aloft to your homes, to the banquets of joyance, and the roofs of Olympus may echo my lyre. Ah, remount on the pinions that waft up my soul, or give me the nectar, or fill me the bowl. Give them the nectar, pour out for the poet, Heb, pour free, quicken his eyes with celestial dew. With Styx, it is tested, no more he may view, like one of us gods may conceit him to be. Thanks, Hebe, quafford, Lauperna cry, wind of the immortals, forbid me to die. This lime tree bore my prison, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Well, they are gone, and here must I remain, with a lime tree bower my prison. I've lost beauties and feelings such as would have been most sweet to my remembrance, even when age had dimmed mine eyes to blindness. They, meanwhile, friends whom I never more may meet again, on springing Heath, along the hilltop edge, wander in gladness, and wind down, perchance, to that still roaring dell of which I told. A roaring dell, our wooded, narrow deep, only speckled by the midday sun, where its slim trunk the ash from rock to rock flings arching like a bridge, branchless ash, unsunned and damp, whose few poor yellow leaves ne'er tremble in the gale, yet tremble still, fanned by the waterfall. And there, my friends, behold the dark green file of long, lank weeds, that all at once, a most fantastic sight, still knot and drip beneath the dripping edge of a blue claystone. Now, my friends, emerge beneath the wide, white heaven, and view again the many steeple-track magnificent of hilly fields and meadows, and the sea, with some fair bark, perhaps, whose sail light up the slip of smooth clear blue betwixt two isles of purple shadow. Yes, we wander on in gladness all, but thou, methinks, most glad, my gentle-hearted Charles, for thou hast pinned and hungered after nature many a year, and the great city penned, winning thy way with sad yet patient soul through evil and pain and strange calamity. Ah, slowly sink behind the western ridge the glorious sun, shine the slant beams of a sinking orb, ye purple heath flowers richly aburn ye clouds. Live in the yellow light ye distant groves, and kindle, thou blue ocean. So my friends struck with deep joy my stand, as I have stood silent with swimming sense, yea, gazing round on the wide landscape, gazed till the doves seem less gross than bodily, and of such hues as veil the Almighty Spirit, as clothe the Almighty Spirit, when He makes spirits perceive His presence. A delight comes sudden on my heart, and I am glad as I myself were there, nor in this bower, this little lime-tree bower, have I not marked much that has soothed me. Pale beneath the blaze hung the transparent foliage, and I watched some broad and sunny leaf, and loved to see the shadow of a leaf and stem above dappling its sunshine. And that walnut tree was richly tinged, and deep radiance lay full in the ancient leaf, which usurp those fronting elms, and now with blackest mass makes the dark branches gleam a lighter hue through the late twilight. And thou nor the bed wheels silent by, and not the swallow twitters, yet still the solitary humble bee sings in the bean-flower. Henceforth I shall know that nature ne'er deserts the wise and pure, no plots are narrow, be but nature there, no wastes are vacant, but a way more employ each faculty of sense, and keep the heart awake to love and beauty. And sometimes 'tis well to be bereft of promised good, that we may lift the soul, and contemplate with lively joy the joys we cannot share. My gentle-hearted Charles, and the last rook beats its straight path along the dusky air homewards, I blessed it, deeming its black wing, now a dim speck, now vanishing in light, had crossed the mighty orb's dilated glory, while thou stoodst gazing, when all was still, flew creaking overhead, and had a charm for thee, my gentle-hearted Charles, to whom no sound is dissonant which tells of life. Viva war the murmuring throng, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Viva war the murmuring throng of wild beasts hum their drowsy song, by indolence and fancy brought, a youthful bard, unknown to fame, wooes the queen of solemn thought, and he's the gentle misery of sigh, gazing with tearful eye, as round our sandy grute appear many rudely sculptured name, to pensive memory dear, weaving gay dreams of sunny tinctured hue, glance before his view, as hushed soul or soothing witcheries shed, and twine their fair garlands round his head. For gentle look, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. For gentle look, that didst my soul beguile, or hast thou left me? Still in some fond dream the wizard my sad heart auspicious smile. As falls on closing flowers a lunar beam, what time in sickly mood that parting day, I lay me down and think of happier years, of joys that glimmered in hope's twilight ray, when left me darkling in a veil of tears. O pleasant days of hope, for ever gone, could I recall you, but that thought is vain, availeth not persuasion's sweetest tone to lure the fleet-winged travellers back again. Yet fair though faint the images shall gleam, like the bright rainbow on the willowy stream. Time, real and imaginary, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. On the wide level of a mountain's head, I knew not where, but 'twas some fairy place, where pinions, ostrich-like, for sails outspread, to lovely children run an endless race as a slender brother. With far outstripped the other, yet ever runs she with averted face, and looks and listens for the boy behind, for he alas is blind. Rough and smooth with even step he passed, and knows not whether he be first or last. To a friend in answer to a melancholy letter, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Away those cloudy looks, the labouring sigh, the peevish offspring of the sickly hour. No meanly was complain of fortune's power, and the blind gamester throws a luckless die. Yon setting sun flashes a mournful gleam behind those broken clouds, his stormy train. Tomorrow shall the many-coloured main and brightness roll beneath his orient beam. Wild as the autumnal guest, the hand of time flies so his mystic lyre. In shadowy dance the alternate gropes of joy and grief advance, responsive to his varying strains sublime. Bears on its wing each hour a load of fate. The swain, who lulled by saints amid the murmurs, led his very oxen to the nightly shed, today may rule a tempest-troubled state. Nor shall, not fortune, the vengeful smile, survey the sanguine despot's might, haply hurl the pageant from his height, unwept to wonder in some savage eye. There shivering sand beneath the tempest thrown, round his tired limbs to wrap the purple vest, and mixed with nails and beads, an equal jest, barred of a foot, the jewels or his crown. To a Friend, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Dear Charles, whilst yet thou wert a babe, I ween the genius plunged thee in that wizard found high Castilier, and, sureties of thy faith, with pity and simplicity stood by, and promised for thee, that thou shouldst renounce the world's low cares and lying vanities, steadfast and rooted in the heavenly muse, and washed and sanctified to poesy. Yes, thou wert plunged, but the forgetful hand held, as by a fetus erst a warrior's son, and the foe's recreant unbaptized heels went flying from the bound ministries. So it seems an burthened summer task to weave unwithering flowers. But take for heed, for thou art vulnerable, wild-eyed boy, and I have errors, mystically dipped, such as may stop thy speed. Is thy burns dead, and shall we die unwept and sink to earth without the meed of one melodious tear? Thy burns and nature's own beloved bard, who to the illustrious of his native land so properly did look for patronage. Ghosts of Mecaenas, hide thy blushing face, they snatched him from the sickle and the plough, to work all Firkins. Oh, for shame return, on a bleak rock, mid the Viannonian mount. There stand a lone and melancholy tree, whose aged branches to the midnight blast make a solemn music. Pluck its darkest bough, ere yet the unwholesome night you be exhaled in weeping wrath at round the poet's tomb. Then in the outskirts, where pollutions grow, pick the rank henbane and the dusky flowers of nightshade or its red and tempting fruit. Weave with stopped nostril and glove-guarded hand, knitted nice into textures, so to twine the lustrous brow of Scotch nobility. To a Friend with an unfinished poem, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Thus far my scanty brain hath built the rhyme, elaborate and swelling, yet the heart not owns it. From thy spirit-breathing powers I ask not now, my friend, the aiding verse, tedious to thee, and from thy anxious thought of dissonant mood. And fancy, well I know, from business wandering far in local cares, thou creepest round a dear-loved sister's bed, with noiseless step, and watchest the faint look, soothing each pang with fond solicitude, and tenderest tones medicinal of love. I too a sister had, an only sister. She loved me dearly, and I doted on her. To her I poured forth all my puny sorrows, as a sick patient in his nurse's arms, and of her heart those hidden melodies that shrink ashamed from even friendship's eye. Oh, I have woke at midnight, and have wept, because she was not. Surely, dear Charles, though thy best friend shall cherish many a year, such warm presages feel I of high hope, for not uninterested the dear maid I viewed as sole affectionate yet wise, a polished wit as mild as lamp-lit glories. But play round a sainted infant's head, he knows, the spirit that in secret sees, of whose omniscient and all-spreading love ought to implore the impotence of mind, that my mute thoughts are set before his throne, prepared, when he his healing ray vouchsafes, to pour forth thanksgiving with lifted heart, and praise him gracious with brother's joy. To a Lady, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Not by Cammo Isis' famous streams and arched groves, the youthful poet's choice, nor while half listening mid delicious dreams to harp and song from lady's hand and voice, nor yet while gazing in sublime mood on cliff or cataract and Alpendale, nor in dim cave of bladdery seaweed strewed, framing wild fantasies to the ocean's well. Our seabird sang the song, which still he sings, and sings for thee, sweet friend. Hark, pity, hark! Now mounts nor totters on the tempest's wings, nor groans and shivers with repulging bark. Clinched to the shrouds, in vain the breakers roar, death shrieks, with too lone of all his clan, forlorn the poet paced the Grecian shore, no classic Romer but a shipwrecked man. Say when, what muse inspired these genial strains, and lit his spirit so bright a flame? The elevating thought of suffered pains, which gentle hearts should mourn, but chief a name of gratitude, remembrance of friend, or absent honour more, shades of a past, which love makes substance. Hence do we ascend unto your long as life and memory last. Ascend with deep regards of heart and head, sweet mate, for friendship formed this work to we, and thou, the while thou canst not chose but shed, and here for Falkner wilt remember me. To a Young Friend, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. A mount, not very some and bare and steep, but a green mountain, variously uphill, where over jutting rocks soft mosses creep, or coloured lesions with slow oozing weep, where suppress in the darker hues that wild, with the summer tone's gentle dash, dance bright in the red clusters of the ash. Beneath whose boughs, where those still sounds beguiled, calm pensiveness might muse herself to sleep, till hardly startled by some fleecy dam that rustling on the bushy cliff above, with melancholy bleat of anxious love, made meek enquiry for a wandering lamb. Such a green mountain were more so sweet to climb, e'en while the bosom ached with loneliness, how more than sweet, if some dear friend should bless the adventurous toil, and up the path sublime, now lead, now follow, the glad landscape round, wide and more wide, increasing without bound. Or when, to a loveliest sympathy, to mark the berries of a half-uprooted ash, dripping and bright, and lest the torrents dash beneath the cypress of a yew more dark, seated at ease on some smooth mossy rock. In social silence now, and now to unlock the treasured heart, arm-linked and friendly arm, safe with the one, is muse's witching charm, muttering brow-bend at unwatched distance lag. Till high o'erhead his beckoning friend appears, and from the forehead of the topmost crag shouts eagerly, for haply there uprears the shadowing pine its old romantic limbs, which latest shall detain the enarmoured sight, seen from below, when ether valley dims, tinged yellow with a rich departing light. And haply wasn't in some unsunned cleft a beauteous spring, rocks collected tears, sleep sheltered there, scarce wrinkling by the gale. Together thus, the world's veiled turmoil left, stretched on the crack, and shadowed by the pine, and bending over the clear delicious fount. Dearest youth, it were lot divine to cheat our noons in moralizing mood, while west winds fend or tempests toil with youth, when downward slope, of pausing from the mount, to some lone mansion in some woody dale, with smiling with blue-eyed domestic bliss, gives this the husband's, that the brother's kiss. As rudely versed in allegoric lore, the hill of knowledge I easter trace, the verdurous hill with many a resting place, and many a stream, whose warbling waters pour too glad and fertilize the subject plains. That hill with secret springs, and nooks untrod, many a fancy blessed and holy sought, where inspiration is diviner strains low murmuring lay. And starting from the rocks, stiff evergreens, whose spreading foliage mocks once born soil, and the bleak frosts of age, and bigotry's mad fire-invoking rage. O meek retiring spirit, we will climb, cheering and cheered, this lovely hills sublime, and from the stirring world uplifted high, whose noises faintly wafted on the wind, the quiet musing shall attune the mind, and of the melancholy theme sublime. Where, while the prospect for the gazing eye pours all its healthful greenness on the soul, we'll smile at wealth, and into smile at fame, our hopes, our knowledge, our joys the same, as neighbouring fountains image each the whole. Then, when the mind hath drank its fill of truth, we'll discipline that heart to pure delight, rekindling sober joy's domestic flame. They whom I love shall love thee, honoured youth. Now may heaven realize this vision bright. To a Young Man of Fortune, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Hence that fantastic wantonness of woe, O youth, to partial fortune vainly dear, To plundered once, half-sheltered who will go and some hunger-bitten infant hear, mourn haply in a dying mother's ear. Or when the cold and dismal fog times brood, over ranked churchyard with sere elm leaves strewed, pace around some widow's grave, whose drear part was slaughtered, ere o'er his uncoffined limbs the flocking flesh-birds screamed. Then, while the heart groans, and thine eye a fiercer sorrow dims, know, and the truth should kindly thy young mind, what nature makes thee mourn, she bids thee heal. Or abject, if to sickly dreams resigned, all effortless for life's common weal, a prey to tyrants, murderers of mankind. To an Infant, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Ease thy tears and sobs, my little life, I did but snatch away the unclasped knife. Some safer toy will soon rest thine eye, and a quick laughter change this peevish cry. Poor stumbler on a rocky coast of foe, tutored by pain each source of pain to know. Like the fruitful fruit and scorching fire, wake thy eager grasp and young desire. Like the good, the ill offend thy sight, and rouse the stormy sense of shrill affright. Untaught, yet wise, with all thy brief alarms, but closely clinched to thy mother's arms. Nestling thy little face in that fond breast, whose anxious heavings lull thee to thy rest. Man's breathing miniature, thou makest me sigh. A babe art thou, and such a thing am I. To anger rapid and as soon appeased, thou trifles mourning and by trifles pleased. Break friendship's mirror with a tetchy blow, yet snatch with coals of fire on pleasure's altar glow. Or thou that rearest with celestial aim the future self in my mortal frame, thrice holy faith, whatever thorns meet, as on I totter with unpractised feet. Still let me stretch my arms and clinch to thee, meek nurse of souls, for thy long infancy. To an Old Man, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sweet mercy, how my very heart has bled to see thee, poor old man, thy grey hairs o'er with a snowy blast, where no one cares to clothe thy shriveled limbs and palsied head. My father, thrown away this tattered vest, and mocks the shivering. Take my garment, use the young man's arms, melt these frozen dews that hang from thy white beard and numb thy breast. My sail too shall tend thee, like a child, thou shalt talk on our fireside's recess, of purple pride that scowls on wretchedness. He did not so the galleon mild, who met the Lazars turned from rich men's doors, and called them friends, and healed their noisome sores. To an Unfortunate Woman at the Theatre, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Maiden, that with sullen brow sits behind those virgins gay, like a sea-rock and mildewed boar, leafless mid the blooms of May, and Molurtion forsook, of their watched with angry gaze, fearful souls pleading look, anxious heard his fervid phrase. Soft the glances of a youth, softest speech and softest sigh, with a sound like simple truth, but no true love in his eye. Laughing the polluted Lord Heavy, maiden heavy hands, seek the weeping mother's court with wiser innocence. Wast known deceit and folly, wast felt with wisest woe, the musing melancholy, inly armed, go maiden go. Mother's sage of self-dominion, firm thy steps so melancholy, the strongest plumb in wisdom's pinion, as the memory of past folly. Mute the skylark and forlorn, while she molds the thirsting plums, that had skimmed the tender corn of the beanfield's odorous blooms. Soon with renovated wing shall she dare loftier flight, upward to the day-stars spring, and embark on heavenly light. To an Unfortunate Woman, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Myrtle leaf that, ill besped, finest in the gladsome ray, soiled beneath the common tread, far from thy protecting spray. And the patriarch, all the sheaf, whirled along the yellow vale, said I saw thee, heedless leaf, laugh the dalliance of the gale. Lightly didst thou, foolish thing, even flutter to his sighs, while the flatterer on his wing wooed and whispered thee to rise. Gaily from the mother's stalk, that thou danced and wafted high, soon on his unsheltered walk, flung to fate, to rot and die. To Bowles, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. My heart has thanked thee, Bowles, for those soft strains, whose sadness soothes me like the murmuring of wild bees in the sunny showers of spring. For hence, not callous to the mourner's pains, for youth's gay prime and fondest paths I went, and in the darker day of life began, I did roam, a thought-bewildered man, where mild and manliest melancholy lent a mingled charm, such as a pen consigned to slumber, or the big teared renewed. Witness strange mysterious pleasure brewed over wavy and tumultuous mind, as a great spirit erst of plastic sweep moved on the darkness of the unformed deep. To Earl Stanhope, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Not Stanhope with Patrick's doubtful name, mock the worth, friend of the human race. Since scorning faction's lone partial aim, aloof thou wendest in thy stately pace, thyself redeemed from the leprous stain. Nobility and I unterrified, pushed the native warnings on the train that sit complotting with rebellious pride against her, from the Almighty's bosom leapt, the whirlwind arm, fierce minister of love. Whenceforth a virtue our thy tomb hath wept, angels shall lead thee to the throne above. And thou from forth its clouds shalt hear the voice, champion of freedom, and thy God rejoice. To Erskine, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. When British freedom for an happier land spread abroad wings, it fluttered with affright, Erskine, the voice she heard imposed to flight, sublime of hope. For dreadless thou didst stand, thy censer glowing with a hollowed flame, and hireless praise before the unsalted shrine, at her altar pours the stream divine of unmatched eloquence. Wherefore thy name her sons shall venerate, and cheer their breasts of blessings heavenward bereft. And when the doom of nature bids thee die, beyond the tomb thy light shall shine, as sunk beneath the west, while the great summer sun eludes our gaze, still burns white heaven with his distended blaze. To Fortune, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Promptress of unnumbered sighs, I snatch that circlet bandage from thine eyes. I look and smile, no common prayer solicits Fortune thy propitious care. For, not the silken sun of dress, I clink the gilded chains of politesse, nor ask the boon what time I shame, unholy pleasure's frail and feverish dream. And I get my view life's dazzle blinds, pomp, grandeur, power, I give you to the winds. Let the little bosom cold melt only at the sunbeam ray of gold, the pale cheeks glow, the big drops start, the rebel feeling rides at my heart, and if in lonely durance pent, my poor might mourn a brief imprisonment. That might, at soul's faintest sound, leaps from its grip with an elastic bound. Or, if ever song thine ear might soothe or haste the fostering hand to rear, one flower of hope, at love's behest trembling, I placed it in my secret breast. And thrice I viewed the vernal gleam, since oft mine eye, with joy's electric beam, illumed it, and its sadder hue, oft moistened with the tears' ambrosial dew. Poor withered floweret, on its head has dark despair a sickly mildew shed. But thou, O Fortune, canst relume its deadened tints, and thou with harder bloom mayst haply tinge its beauteous pale, and yield the unsung stranger to the western gale. To Genevieve, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Maid of my love, sweet Genevieve, in beauty's light you glide along, your eyes like the star of eve, and sweet your voice as seraph's song. Yet not your heavenly beauty gives the heart with passion soft to glow. If in your soul a voice there lives, it bids you hear the tale of woe. When sinking low the sufferer one beholds no hand outstretched to save, fair as the bosom of a swan, it rises graceful o'er her wave. I've seen your breasts of pity heave, and therefore love I you, sweet Genevieve. To Kosciuszko, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Oh, what a loud and fearful shriek was there, as though 1,000 souls one death-groan poured on me that viewed beneath an hireling sword, fallen Kosciuszko. For the breathing air, as pours the tired Cossack's barbarous yell of triumph, on the chill midnight gale rises with frantic burst, or sad as well, the dirge of murdered hope, where freedom pale bends in such anguish o'er her destined bier, as if from eldest time some spirit meek had gathered in a mystic urn each tear, and ever furred a sad patriot's cheek. And she had drained the source of a bowl, even till she reeled, intoxicated of soul. To Mercy, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Not always should the tear's ambrosial dew roll its soft anguish down thy furrowed cheek. Not always heaven-breathed tones of suppliance make beseem thee mercy, in dark scholar view, or with proud words of dear-loved freedom came, more blasting than the milieu from the south, and kissed his country with his scarred mouth, ah, fool that paused it from his father's fame, and fixed her on the cross of deep distress, and at safe distance marks the thirsty lance, pierce the big side, but oh, if some strange trance the eyelids of her stern-browed sister press, seize Mercy, thou more terrible the brand, and hurled her thunderbolts with fiercer hand. To My Own Heart, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Thou bleedest, my poor heart, thy distress reasoning, I ponder with a scornful smile, and prop thy sore wound sternly, while the mild swollen be mine eye and dim my heaviness. I didst well listen to hope's whisper blend, or listening by forget the healing tale, then jealousy with feverish fancies pale, jarred the fine fibres of the maniac's hand. Faint was that hope and rayless, yet 'twas fair, and soothed with many a dream the hour of rest. Shouldst have loved it most, when most oppressed, and nursed it with an agony of care, even as a mother her sweet infant hair, that worn in sickly drops upon her breast. To Nature, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It may indeed be fantasy when I say to draw from all created things deep, heartfelt, inward joy that closely clings, and trace in leaves and flowers that round me lie lessons of love and earnest betide. So let it be, and if the wide world rings in mock of this belief, it brings no fear, nor grief, nor vain perplexity. So will I build my altars in the fields, and blue sky my fretted doom shall be, and the sweetest fragrance that a wild flower yields shall be the incense I will yield to thee, the only God, and woe should not despise, even me, the price of his poor sacrifice. To Priestley, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Aroused by that dark vizier riot root have driven out Priestley on the ocean swell, where superstition and the wolfish brood by his mild radiance impotent and fell. Calm in his house of brightness he shall dwell, for lo, religion at his strong behest starts with mild anger from the papal spell, and flings to earth her tinsel glittering west, her mitred state and cumbrous pomp unholy. And justice wakes to bid the oppressor wail, insulting aye the wrongs of patient folly. And from a dark retreat by wisdom won, meek nature slowly lifts a matron veil to smile the fondness on her gazing son. To Sheridan, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It was some spirit, Sheridan, that breathed over young minds such widely various power. My son hath marked thee in her shaping hour, where temples with her meridian flowers rift. And sweeter voices when no laurel's briar sad music trembled through Vaucluse's glade, sweet as at dawn the love-lorn serenade that wafts of dreams to slumber's listening ear. Now patriot rage, indignation high, swell full tones, and now when eye-beams dance meanings of scorn and wit's grain revelry. Riffs inly from the bosom probing glance, were posted by the brainless road adored, and rose with elder fianth beneath great Michael's sword. To Siddons, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. As when a child on some long winter's night, affrighted clinging to its grandma's knees, with eager wondering and perturbed delight, listens strange tales of fearful dark decrees, muttered wretch by necromance's spell, or foes hex, who at the witching time of murky midnight ride the air sublime, and mingle full embrace with fiends of hell, cold horror drinks its blood, and the tear more gentle starts to hear the beldam tale of pretty babes that loved each dear, murdered by cruel uncle's mandate fell. Even such the shivering joys thy tones impart, even so thus, Siddons, meltest my sad heart. To Simplicity, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Oh, I do love thee, meek Simplicity, for her lace the lulling simpleness goes to my heart and soothes each small distress, distressed for small, yet hardly great to me. 'Tis true in Lady Fortune's gentle pet I amble on, yet though I know not why, so sad I am. But should a friend and I grow cool and miff, I am very sad, and when with sonnets and with sympathy my dreamy bosom's mystic woes appall. Now of my false friend plaining plaintively, nor raving at mankind in general, but whether sad or fierce, 'tis simple all very simple, meek Simplicity. To the author of poems published in Bristol, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Unboastful bard, whose verse concise yet clear tunes to smooth melody unconquered sense, make of fame faithless live as never seer the ivory refs yon oak whose broad defence embrows me from noon's sultry influence. For like that nameless rivulet stealing by, your modest verse to musing quiet dear is rich with tints heaven borrowed. The charmed eye shall gaze undazzled there, and love the softened sky. Circling the base of a poetic mound a stream where is, which roads and lazy flow, its coal-black waters from oblivion's fount. Vapour-poisoned birds that fly too low, fall with dead swoop, and to the bottom go. Escape that heavy stream on pinions fleet, beneath the mountain's lofty frowning brow, aught of perilous escant you meet, a meet of mildest charm, delays the unlaboring feet. Not there the cloud-climbing rock, sublime and vast, that like some giant king o'erglooms the hill, nor there the pine grove to the midnight blast makes solemn music with the unceasing rill, till the soft wren of lark's descending trill murmurs sweet the undersong mid jasmine bowers. In this same pleasant meadow, at your will, I ween you wandered, there collecting flowers of sober tint and herbs of medicinable powers. Wherefore the monarch murdered soldier's tomb, you wove the unfinished wreath of saddest hues, and to that holier chaplet added bloom, with sprinkling it with Jordan's cleansing dews. But lo, your Henderson awakes the muse. His spirit beckoned from the mountain's height, you left the plain and sought mid richer views. So nature mourned when sung the first day's light, with stars unseen before, spangling her robe of night. Still so, my friend, those richer views among, strong, rapid, fervent, flashing fancy beam. Virtue and truth shall love your gentler song, but poesy demands the impassioned theme. Waked by heaven's silent dews that eves might gleam, what balmy sweets pomon their breaths around. But if a vex air rush the stormy stream, autumn's shrill gust moan in plaintive sound, the fruits and flowers she loads the tempest-honored ground. To the Author of the Robbers by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Schiller, that I would have wished to die, if through the shuddering midnight I had sent from the dark dungeon of the tower time rent, that fearful voice, a famished father's cry, left in some after moment autumn or mean, might stamp me mortal. A triumphant shout, black horror screamed, and all her goblin root diminished shrunk from the more rivering scene. A bard tremendous in sublimity, could behold thee in the loftier mood, wandering at eve with finely frenzied eye, beneath some vast old tempest-swinging wood, while with mute awe gazing I would brood, when weep aloud in a wild ecstasy. To the Autumnal Moon by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Mild splendor of a rise-vested night, the mother of widely working visions, hail, I watch thy gliding, wild with watery light, thy weak eye glimmers through the fleecy veil. And when, who last the pale orb to shroud, behind the gathered blackness lost on high, and thou dartest from the wind-rent road, the placid lightning of the awakened sky. As such is hope, is changeful and is fair, no dimly peering on the wistful sight, no hid behind the dragon-winged despair, but soon emerging in a radiant might, she o'er the so-clouded breast of care sails, like a meteor kindling in its flight. To the Muse by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. On our bold flights that belong, above the lace of conscious fear, sink through judgment's eye severe, yet much I thank thee, spirit of my song. For, lovely Muse, by sweet employ exalts my soul, refines my breast, gives each pure pleasure keener zest, and softens sorrow into pensive joy. Of thee I learn to wish to bless, of thee to commune with my heart. From thee, dear Muse, the gayer part, to love with pity the crowds that press, where fashion flaunts her robes with folly spun, whose hues gave a rhyme wanton in the sun. To the Nightingale by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sister of love-lorn poets, Philomel, how many bards in city garret pent, while at the window wave with downward eye mark the faint lamp-beam on the kennelled mud, and listen to the drowsy cry of watchmen. Those hoarse and feathered nightingales of time, how many wretched bards address thy name, and hers the full-orbed queen that shines above. But I do hear thee, and the high-bough marks, within whose mild, moon-mellowed foliage hid, thou warblest sad the pity-pleading strains. Oh, have I listened, and my working soul, waked by those strains, to thousand fantasies, absorbed half creased to listen, wherefore oft a hymn by name. The proud delight, oft will I tell thee, minstrel of the moon, most musical, most melancholy bird, but all thy soft diversities of tone, was sweeter far than the delicious airs that ribald from the white-armed lady's harp, what time the languishment of lonely love melts in her eye and heaves the breast of snow. And not so sweet as is the voice of her, my Sarah, best beloved of humankind, and breathing the pure soul of tenderness, she thrills me with a husband's promised name. To the Reverend George Coleridge by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. A blessed Lord hath he who, having passed his youth and early manhood in the stir and turmoil of the world, retreats at length with cares that move not agitate the heart to the same dwelling where his father dwelt, and haply views his tottering little ones embrace those aged knees and climb that lap, on which first kneeling on his own infancy lisped its brief prayer. Such our earliest friend, our lot, and such were brothers to enjoy. At distance did ye climb life's upland road, yet cheered and cheering, now fraternal love hath drawn you to one centre. Be your days holy, and blessed and blessing may ye live. To me the ancient wisdom half dispensed, a different fortune, more different mind. Me from the spot where first it sprang to light, too soon transplanted, and my soul had fixed its first domestic loves, hence through life chasing chance started friendships. A brief while some have preserved me from life's pelting ills, But like a tree with leaves of feeble stem, if a cloud lasted, and a sudden breeze ruffled the boughs, where on my head at once dropped the collected shower, and some most folds on fair foliage, as the melanchial have tempted me to slumber in their shade, e'en mid the storm. And breathing subtle stems mixed their own venom with the rain from heaven, where they were poisoned. But all praise to him who gives us all things, more have yielded me permanent shelter, and beside one friend, beneath the impervious covert of one oak, I've raised a lowly shelter, and know the names of husband and of father. Nor hearing offered divine and nightly whispering voice, which from my child to mature years spake to me of presidential wreaths, bright with no fading colours. Yet at times my soul is sad that I have roamed through life, still most a stranger, most with naked heart at mine own home and birthplace, chiefly when I remember thee, my earliest friend, we who didst watch my boyhood and my youth, didst trace my wanderings with a father's eye, embodying evil yet still hoping good, rebuked each fault, and over all my woes sought in silence. He who counts aloud the beatings of a solitary heart, that being knows how I have loved thee ever, loved as a brother, as a son revered thee. O 'tis to me an ever new delight to talk of thee and thine, of in the blast of shrill winter rattling our rude sash, and thee as the cleanly half and social bowl. Or when as now in some delicious eve, we know a sweet sequestered orchard plot, sit from the tree-crooked earthward, whose outer boughs that hang above us in an arborous roof, stood by the faint gale of departing May, sent for loose blossoms slanting our heads. Nor dost not thou sometimes recall those hours, when with the joy of hope thou gavest thine ear to my wild thirsting days? Since then my song hath sounded deeper notes, such as beseem of that sad wisdom folly leaves behind, such as, tuned to these tumultuous times, cope with the tempest's swell. These various strains which I have framed many a various mood except my brother, and for some perchance will strike discordant on the milder mind. If aught of error or intemperate truth should meet thine ear, think for that riper age will calm it down, and that the love forgive it. To the Reverend W. J. H. by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Hush, ye clamorous cares, be mute, again the harmonist, again through the hollow of her flute breath that passion-wild strain, till memory each form shall bring the loveliest of a shadowy throng, and hope that soars on sky-like wing can rule the wilder gladdest song. Or skilled with magic spell to roll the thrilling tones that concentrate the soul, breathe thou the flute with tender notes again, while near thee sits the chaste-eyed maiden mild, and bid her raise the poet's kindred strain in soft impassioned voice correctly wild. In freedom's undivided dell, where toil and health with mellowed love shall dwell, far from folly, far from man, in the rude romantic glen, up the cliff and through the glade, wandering with the dear-loved maid, I shall listen to the lay, and ponder on thee far away. Still as she bids those thrilling notes aspire, making my fond attuned heart a lyre, the honoured form my friend shall reappear, and I will thank thee with a raptured tear. To the River Otter by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Dear native brook, wild streamlet of the west, how many various fagled years have passed, what happy and what mournful hours, since last I skimmed the smooth and stone along thy breast, numbering its light leaps, yet so deep impressed sink the sweet scenes of childhood, that mine eyes I never shut amid the sunny ray, but straight with all their tints the waters rise, thy crossing plank, thy march with willows grey, embedded sand that vain the rise dies, gleam through their bright transparence. On my way visions of childhood, oft have you beguiled lone manhood's cares, yet waking fondest sighs, that I were once more a careless child. Unboastful maid, thou know the lily pale, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Unboastful maid, thou know the lily pale, transparent grace, the beauteous meek, yet ere again along the empuring vale, the purpling veil and elfin-haunted grove, hangs the fire's fresh flowers profusely froze, well tinged with lily hues thy cheek, and hardly from the nectar-breathing rose extract a blush for love. War by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It would have proved a striking part of the vision presented to Adam the day after the death of Abel, to have brought before his eyes 500,000 of men crowded together in the space of a square mile. And the first father had exhausted his wonder of the multitude of his offspring, he would then naturally inquire of his angelic instructor what purpose so vast a multitude had assembled. What is the common end, alas, to murder each other, all Cains and yet no Abels? Was it some sweet device of fairyland? By Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Was it some sweet device of fairyland that mocked my steps with many a lonely glade, and fancied wanderings of the fair-haired maid? Have these things been, or did the wizard wand of Merlin wave, impregnating a vacant air, and kindle the vision of a smile in those blue eyes, that seemed to speak while such tender things as might enforce despair to drop the marvelling knife, let go by his fell resolve? Ah me, the lonely glade still courts the footsteps of a fair-haired maid, among whose locks the west winds laugh to sigh, but I forlorn to wander, reckless where, when my wanderings find no Anna there. Welcome, ladies, to the cell, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Welcome, ladies, to the cell where the blameless pixies dwell, but the sweet nymph proclaimed our fair queen, if with Ossian's meet the present shall we greet. For lo, attended on their steps, seeing graceful ease and artless stole, and white-robed purity of soul, than honour's softer mien. Mirth of the loosely flowing hair, and meek-eyed pity eloquently fair, whose tearful cheeks are lovely to the view, and snowdrop wet with dew. What is life? By Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Resembles life what once was held of light to ample in itself for human sight. An absolute self, an element ungrounded, all that we see, all colours of all shade, by encroach of darkness made, is very life by consciousness unbounded, and all the thoughts, pains, joys of mortal breath, a warm embrace of wrestling life and death. When evening's dusky car, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. When evening's dusky car, crowned with her dewy star, steered over the fading sky in shadowy flight, on leaves of aspen trees we tremble to the breeze, veiled from the gossamer ken of mortal sight. Or haply at the visionary hour, along our wildly bowered sequestered walk, we listen to the enamored rustics talk, heave with the heavings of a maiden's breast, where young-eyed laughs have built their turtle nest, or guide of soul-subduing power, the electric flash that from the melting eye darts a fond question and the soft reply. When fades the moon all shadowy pale, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. When fades the moon all shadowy pale, and scuds the cloud before the gale, a morn with living gems bedight purples the east of straky light, we sip the first flow of fragrant dews, clad in robes of rainbow hues, richer than the deepened bloom that glows on summer's lily-scented plum, or, sport amid the rosy gleam, soothed by the distant tinkling team. While lustier labour scouting so bids the dame a glad good morrow, who jogs the accustomed road along, and paces cherry to a cheering song. When I was at Malta, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. When I was at Malta, there happened a drunken squabble on the road between Vallette and St. Antonio, between a party of soldiers and another of sailors. They were brought before me on the next morning, and the great effect which the intoxication had produced on the memory, and the little or no effect on the courage in giving evidence, may be seen by the following specimen. The soldiers swore that the sailors were the first aggressors, and had exhorted them with the following words: "Your eyes! Who stops the line of march there?" The sailors with equal vehemence and unanimity averred that the soldiers were the first aggressors, and had burst on them calling out, "Heave to, you lubbers, or we'll run you down." Whom the untaught shepherds call, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Whom the untaught shepherds call pixies in the madrigal, fancy's children, here we dwell, welcome, ladies, to our cell. Here the wren of softest note builds its nest and warbles well, here the blackbird drains his throat, welcome, ladies, to our cell. Wise Ignorance, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It is impossible to become either an eminent great or truly pious man without the courage to remain ignorant of many things. This important truth is most happily expressed by the elder Skalgia in prose and by the younger in verse. The latter extract has an additional claim from the exquisite treasureness of its diction and the purity of its Latinity. We particularly recommend its perusal to the commentators of the Apocalypse. Quare uterio disquitur morosiat quas attacendis animis est, humane enim sapiente para est quandam aquae anima niscere vele. Ne curiosus quere causas omnium, quecunque libris vis profetatum indidit, afflata cerlo plena veredit Deo, ne caparatis sacis pararus silentii, irrumpere ande sed poente praeteri, nescire velequam magister optimus docronon vult eruditat inscita est. Work without hope, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. All nature seems at work, slugs leave their lair, the bees are stirring, birds are on the wing, and wind is slumbering in the open air, worse on a smiling face a dream of spring. and I will while with soul unbusy thing, nor honey make, nor pair, nor build, nor sing. Yet will I keen the banks where amaranths blow, have traced a fount whence streams of nectar flow. Bloom, O ye amaranths, bloom for many ye may, for me ye bloom not. Glide which streams obey, with lips unbrightened, breathless brow, I stroll. And would you learn the spells that rouse my soul? Work without hope draws nectar in a sieve, and hope without an object cannot live. Youth and Age by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Verse a breeze, but blossoms straying, where hope clung feeding like a bee, both for mine. Life and the maying of nature, hope and poesy, when I was young. And I was young, a woeful when, I thought a change twixt now and then. With breathing house not built with hands, with body that does my grievous wrong, or air cliffs and glittering sands, or lightly when it flashed along, like a rose-trimmed skiffs anon of yore, or winding lakes and rivers wide, that ask no aid of sail or oar, that fear no spite of wind or tide, nor cared this body for wind or weather, when youth and I lived in together. Flowers are lovely, love is flower-like, friendship is a sheltering tree, of the joys that came down shower-like, of friendship, love, and liberty, was old. I was old, a woeful which tells me youth's no longer here. O youth, who years so many and so sweet, 'tis known that thou and I were one. I think it with a fond conceit, it cannot be that thou art gone. The whisper bell hath not yet told, and thou would I a mask bold. With strange disguise I snuggled on to make believe that thou art gone. I see these locks and serious lips, this dropping gait, this eldered sighs, with springtide blossoms on thy lips, and tears take sunshine from thine eyes. Life is but a fault, so think I will that youth and I are housemates still. Dewdrops of the gems of morning, but the tears of mournful eve, when our hope is life's a warning, that only serves to make us grieve. When we are old, that only serves to make us grieve, for oft and tedious taking leave, like some poor nigh relating guest, that may not rudely be dismissed, yet half outstayed his welcome while, and tells a jest without a smile.